It's the Be Unfiltered podcast. What the fuck we finna talk about?
Welcome to episode 45 of the Be Unfiltered podcast. I'm your host, Brittany, and I'm here with today's co-host. This is my friend, Dominique. Say hi.
Hi, everyone. Thank you for having me.
Yes. So I just want to say I have been so excited to do this with you because honestly, you're one of my favorite people here in Texas.
Aww.
And I need them to like meet you and your energy because there's no one like you. There's nobody like you. So let's first talk. We know each other through a mutual friend.
Yes.
And we met each other and it was like instantly.
Yo, we met and then we were like talking and our friend was sitting in the middle and we're like,
we
hey
just,
guys,
the
catching up like for life.
Yeah, like it was like I met you and I felt like I knew you like forever.
Yeah.
And it was so natural.
We spent hours.
We did.
And the service at the restaurant wasn't even
terrible.
that good.
We just sat there and
we were
like,
talking.
I was like, I love champagne. You're like, I love champagne too. And I was like, I love whiskey. You're like, I like whiskey too.
Right.
It was so crazy. We had so
many
common.
things.
It was. And then like our friendship.
And then you had a cute outfit on. Like I was like, oh, I like her
hat on. But I remember that too about you. I was like, I don't remember what I had on.
I feel like in your hair was straight because it was like, you had straight. It was really cute.
Because I didn't really have anybody here like when I first moved. So
to style your hair.
So then it was really cool because we both stayed. I know, but she has beautiful curls, so don't be fooled, y'all. Her curls are the best.
It's humid.
Yes, very much hot here. What I think was really cool too is that like when over the holidays, both of our families came to visit and we like even connected, like how do you even connect more? Because it was like, then we just kind of unlocked a new level of friendship because like our brothers have similar birthdays.
Yeah, and they connected. Yes. And then my sister-in-law was here. That was one of my best nights. We tore it up out here.
We had a good time.
And it was Christmas Eve, so we brought in Christmas and left like in the morning. It was
such a good time. Like I told somebody, like still to this day, that's probably one of my favorite times.
Your favorite nights, right? Really and the music was lit that night.
You know, that's my favorite DJ.
Right.
He's a really good DJ.
In comparison to like all the other nights, and we were getting, the girl was like coming around with like shots.
Remember? Yeah, girl, that was a crazy night. I was so hungover the next day. Like we didn't do anything that whole day. Like I was supposed to cook dinner for my brother.
Oh yeah, you ended up cooking later.
The next day. It was so fun though.
I feel like we ended up doing like opening because I bought my mom the giant bottle of Moet. Yes. We opened it, but it's like we didn't drink all of it. No, it was just too much.
And then we went out again like the night after that, and we had a good time. We were at
where did we go?
Prospect Park.
And I forgot, and the DJ was there again. That was good too. It was just, but we were like already drained from the night before, so it was more chill.
The Cowboys game.
Yes. Yeah, we watched it again. I think we won.
We did. It was
the Cowboys won because we were there.
Yeah,
that was basically it. Right.
I'm looking forward to us driving to Dallas.
So speaking of Dallas, I was actually going to let you know the weekend of the 27th, 24th, but that's the weekend that you're going for the birthdays of July.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna be home. You're going?
Yeah. Maybe, but I'm not gonna go. Well, obviously there's no games, but I kind of like. I think that was like putting me off from going there. Like if I'm not going there to see the Cowboys,
then it's like, what am I going for? Well, don't worry, sis, because it's nothing but a hop, skip, and a jump up the road. So we're going this year.
Yes, we need to. We need to get on the schedule and like nap. I want good seats.
I know, me too.
We need to get our hotel.
I want a tailgate and everything.
Maybe we just book our hotel, get our seats, like lock it in, because it gets crazy.
I was gonna say, and we both like to be all over the place.
Yes, and like see things, travel.
Took so long to get on the schedule because when she's in town, I'm not in town. When I'm in town, she's not in town, and she be out of town all the time. Y'all.
No, she be out of town at least once or twice a month.
No, it be her.
You heard her. She's like, oh, I'm not gonna be in town.
Yeah, girl, bye. You said you were going to Dallas, like whatever. So
exactly, that's still in the state.
Whatever.
It's like around the corner. Hop, skip. You gotta get on a plane and be out. She's going to a new time zone to make it clear.
Okay, I am. It's gonna be a quick trip though. I'm flying. I'm not even getting to Richmond. I'm not even getting to Virginia until Friday at like 11:30 at night. So then I'm turning.
You're gonna work during the day and
then just fly because it's like
this girl be doing it all. You know, Pisces, they got their hand in a little bit of everything, baby. They be going through that water.
Before we move forward, because I want to talk about your zodiac sign, we're gonna take a shot of whiskey together. So thank you for joining me, friend.
Salud, so thank you. So do yours. Whew.
Wasn't so bad.
It wasn't.
But
I haven't drank like since Miami because I knew I was coming on here with you because I'm not drinking.
Well, guys, my friend
Look what she did.
She's a champagne drinker.
She was like wine or whiskey. And I was like, I don't know, because I'm not really drinking. But I was like, girl, the topics are going to be juicy. Us getting together, finally doing this. Like, you see, I'm holding it.
Yes. So this is her favorite. No, actually, Iced Imperial is her favorite, which is my favorite as well. But I could not find it. I was in Target, girl, real quick, and I was like, I gotta grab some champagne.
And
this was the only one they had.
Right. I'm like, appreciative.
So we're gonna.
I don't know why they don't sponsor us by now. The way we be popping these bottles.
Speaking of, okay, so let's talk about zodiac signs. So you are a
Aquarius.
Right. And so your birthday's in January.
It is. January 30th.
January. And your birthday was
Kid Cudi is my birthday twin.
Really?
Yes. I really want to meet him because he's my birthday twin.
I could see that actually.
Yeah, like so creative, mind-wise. Like I could see us having a really good combo.
I could see that too. Your birthday was also your birthday brunch was also one of my favorite things I've done since I moved here. Nah, because it was.
And I missed yours, so don't even go there.
No, it's cool. But no, seriously, yours was just so good because it was like I felt like I was surrounded by powerful Black women, like in all different ways. Like it was good energy. I just remember looking around like, damn, it's some beautiful Black women.
Yes, and it was a mix of even like people like some of your friends that I met through you that were there that we just vibed out. It was just great energy and just positive vibes.
It was.
Then I lost my keys, but we bounced back.
But
like
we did it. We figured it out. We ended up having a good time after that. Your birthday was a really good time. She's talking about traveling. She was out of town for my birthday. That's how much she be traveling. Where were you? Brazil.
I was in Brazil.
So how was that? Tell them about that. I've never been.
Brazil was amazing. That's so crazy. I just had my Brazilian coffee this morning and I posted it on Pilau, so strong and delicious.
Oh, that's what that word meant. Okay, I didn't know what that
it's
meant.
a brand of coffee.
Okay, I was like, what is that? I saw that.
It's a brand of coffee. I was trying to find their Instagram, girl. I got distracted. I be working, trying to post in the middle, then I get on a call.
You remind me of myself in that sense where you're multitasking at all times. It's like at all times you have 10 million things going on. Because you'll be like, I'm not working today. And then I'll text you 5 minutes later. You're like, girl, I'm going to be working all day. And I'm like, Dominique's days go like this.
And it's crazy because you understand, being an entrepreneur, sometimes you're not working on other people's business, but you have to continue. And creative, right? Like, not even entrepreneur, but just being a creative. Sometimes, you get inspired and you just have to feed that and keep going in because you don't know where it's going to take you. And you have to feed it.
Because I was going to say, because sometimes you be in a drought and you're like, oh my God, I'm stuck. I can't think of nothing. I don't feel like doing it. It feels like it's a chore more than
it happens, especially writing for other people and working and strategizing.
Well, let's talk a little bit more. We'll get into more detail about your actual business, but talk a little bit about, we know you're an entrepreneur. We'll talk in more detail about how that is and what your business is, but you've done some other things in your past, which I think are really cool. So you're also a journalist. You were a journalist in your past life, but still now.
It's still in my life.
Yeah.
I love journalism.
So talk about that a little bit. How did you get into it?
How did I get into journalism? I feel like my mom kind of knew that I was a good writer. And when I first went to college, I was like, I want to study people and psychology.
So she started out going to Hampton University, y'all.
I did.
So everybody knows I'm
real
from Virginia.
HU.
I was gonna say, everybody knows I'm from Virginia. So we connected on that too. She was like, oh, I went to school in Hampton. I was like, girl,
and my family is in Virginia.
Yeah,
remember,
she did tell me
I have a lot of family in Suffolk. Shout out to Suffolk, Richmond, Virginia Beach.
Yes.
Shout out to my homegirl, Shaq, in Virginia Beach. I have so many people there. So I ended up actually changing my major and focusing on journalism. Long story short, it was amazing. I spent 2 years at Hampton. But then I was like, okay, I need to go to New York because obviously that's where the stories really are.
Right.
Hampton just wasn't. I transitioned out, moved to New York, finished my undergraduate degree, and I was in print journalism.
So what is print journalism mean?
It was at the time, because that's kind of archaic now.
Is that like magazines?
It was, magazine was a specific major too, but print and magazine overlap. Print was more like newspapers.
Oh, really?
Right.
Okay.
So wait,
I remember newspapers.
I still like to read them, but
me too. I still like hard copy books.
Me too. I see a little library.
It's my little library. I have several more actually packed away.
Yeah. I still like that. I'm not a Kindle fan. I'll do quick news on my phone for my day to day, like my morning, my aspirations, my news, my rundown. But if I'm gonna get into heavy studying, I think it's a mixture because I'll read a book that's more of a nonfiction, or kind of something that's really niche or something recommended to me. And then when I'm on my computer is when I do all my journalism. So from print, I went to City College. Print was kind of archaic, and I started getting into like on camera broadcast journalism. I had an amazing teacher too. One that was on the news, Chris. I forget his last name. He was really inspirational to me and really helped me. And he was literally on the WB, and I used to love the news.
The WB,
right?
Yeah.
He was on news channels, and that was my teacher as well. He was young. He was like 30 something. I was like, this is so cool. Mind you, I'm like 20 something. Like, oh. And then I had a professor named David Diaz, and I remember like going in undergrad when I was in City College after Hampton. I also had an inspirational teacher at Hampton, and the common thread between all these teachers is like, I used to get my work done. I used to be like, I don't understand why we have to write like this. Why do we have to write in this inverted pyramid? I felt like it was so archaic. Like I wanted to tell a different story. So I'm bouncing around here. I'm taking you guys back to Hampton because I'm going to bring you to New York. Okay. So in Hampton, I actually got, I was taking this journalism course. Mind you, you have to apply to the journalism school. Okay. So I kept failing. Okay. I'm not a test taker. I'm not going to lie.
You just don't like it, yeah.
I don't know, but I did good on LSATs.
Interesting.
Like the practice
it's a different sort of mindset. Yeah,
right.
It's a different sort of thing.
Now I didn't finish the whole thing because I need to work on my timing. But as far as the exam, I didn't feel as much pressure. Anywho, so we are learning about actually President Bush had this is the Bush the second,
not the first, because not
that old. The inauguration, and my professor's like, write about the inauguration. Everybody needs to give a piece on the night. Dominique Zonyee watched the inauguration, and I saw a different angle. My paper was totally different from everybody.
And what was yours? Or
the Oscar de la Renta, the fashion
that's
of it
her
all,
bag, yo. Actually,
and the first lady's ring, the fashion, and how
this is in your blood for real. Like, you know that, right? Like,
I just felt like I was like, how? Okay, there's Oscar de la Renta. Where's Oscar de la Renta from? So I start researching like how all these different designers, some American, some not, are here providing like fashion wardrobe for the first lady. I thought she stole the inauguration. So my piece started out with a who, what, when, why, but I went into fashion. My professor was like, we said the inauguration, and I said, you don't see this now? And this was in, I want to say 2003, 2004.
Yeah, something like
People
that.
weren't now it's every year.
Everywhere.
Right.
That's
so
all they do. Yeah.
Hence my paper, like he gave me a grade for, he said I didn't do the homework. And I was like, right. But I felt what he was saying, because it was like, you have to write, like, if you want to be in this, if you want to work for this news house, you need to write in their voice. Right. So I got it.
So you can do that, but that's not your natural voice.
I would say nothing is anybody's natural voice, especially when it's edited by someone else, right?
Okay.
Like, and then like you have to meet certain quotas for like certain outlets, right? Everybody has their brand and their brand voice. But at the time, in retrospect, I look at those lessons and I'm like, okay, so fast forward going to New York, I had a full-time job. I think I was interning somewhere and I was in undergrad. And I had a project with a partner, and we were supposed to produce these news packages. I was working on there was a dog food recall, and I worked at an animal house. So I'm like, oh, I could work. I'm always like, you know what I'm saying? You are. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna get this. My partner never shows up, child. Ever.
I hate partner projects.
Because sometimes it's like, you know, you want to be vulnerable and depend on people, but I'm the type, I got to get the job done.
I was gonna say, we got to get this done, and you're playing with my time.
Right.
We're not doing that. Okay, so you're on this.
I take a sip on that note. So, because like it was a little traumatizing. Girl, I am lugging. Now this is again, I would say 2008. I'm lugging a camera, a tripod, my purse. You know, I always got mad bags right there. Mad bags. I'm bag lady. Everyone knows that. And I'm like, I'm lugging it from on the train. I have a car at this point, but. Child, my parents had to repossess it because, you know, the tickets, I wasn't moving it.
He was doing too much. You was being a 20-year-old, 20-something year old.
Doing too much. Too much. So the girl never shows up. I tell my professor, I'm like, hey, she's not showing up. I'm doing this package. He was like, does the nightly news not air because someone gets sick? Show me what you can do. Valid point. That pushed me. It sunk in, and I was like, I think I never was a complainer, but I thought it wasn't fair that I was doing it and I was like exhausting myself. But then when I realized you're doing it for you and you're doing it for something you love, like this is the position you're in. So I got the job done. I ended up getting a B.
Yes, and that's not bad to say you did it all by yourself. Like, yeah, you're one person doing a 2-person project.
Right. I edited. I did my own script. I did my own camera setup. It was like crazy. And then I had another package where actually I was at the Action Coalition. It was on 145th and Lenox. I will never forget.
New Yorkers, by the way, I'm sorry. She's a New Yorker. We didn't talk about that. She's a born and bred New Yorker.
My accent is real strong.
And I was like, I should have been told them that. Because whenever I'm with my New Yorker friends, they're like, it's on one something. Girl, that don't mean nothing to me. Like,
I thought you just came back, so I'm trying to drop.
She was saying all that, and I was like, I don't. The whole time she's like, oh yeah, that's just on blah blah. Girl, I don't know what that means.
Because we like start envisioning like, oh yeah, about another shop. Oh, my homeboy living there. It's like a story.
Yes.
It's so funny because I was talking to one of my friends and she was in LA too, but she's from New York and she just went back. She was like, just the vibe of you could go out anytime and just meet people, the energy if you want to. You're hearing stuff. So as I'm talking to her, I'm like, I'm loving the sirens. I love the ambiance. It's just it's like different. The energy, right?
I will say that.
It was amazing. But yeah, so I mean, that pushed me to get into journalism. And I just from there kind of evolved from print. Like I was always kind of like ahead of my time. I knew that like, who's reading the newspaper? Who's reading these like the way, the style of writing. So I got into kind of more, I was pushed into digital, right? Because everybody had a blog. I used to write for AOL Patch. Like,
really?
Yeah. And I wrote one of the first newspapers was the Amsterdam, I forgot what it's called. Amsterdam News. It's like one of the oldest newspapers in Harlem. I'm not sure if that even exists.
That's cool.
That was like one of my beats, right? I have a couple of published works for them. And then from there, it was like hard to get a job because actually in 2008, my last year in undergrad, I moved to Italy. And that's when I had my first published work because I used to interview in Italian. I learned Italian in like 2 months. And
what? I never knew this.
I thought I told you.
I mean, I knew that you knew Italian, but I didn't know you learned it so quickly.
I love languages, and I took Latin before I got there.
So you had a tiny little foundation.
I feel like I don't know. I've always had a thing where, like, I grew up in a...
Do you know how smart that makes you? Because, like, that is, like...
I feel like I don't know numbers, though. I'm like...
I don't know numbers.
I can count and add. Bank account adds up. But if you're like, put this... I just figured out that there's a code with 12s. Like, how you can add in 7. Like, I just did that, and I'm 30.
I don't know what that is.
Unclear. Anyway, let's not get crazy. Let's not even make our minds go crazy because it's unclear.
Okay. So you were in Italy. You got you still published the first time while you were there.
Yeah, and then came back. It was hard to find a job. I was struggling, child. Like on my grandmama's futon in Harlem, right around there on 140. Nah, but then I was like, I'm going to grad school. And I applied. Didn't get in. The first year, I applied to one school, Columbia. I was like, I'm going to Ivy
Columbia,
League.
yeah.
Oh, okay. Was not ready. Got in the room for the test and my head was spinning. I was like, oh my God, it's a computer. And it was computerized test taking. I had a panic attack. I left. Needless to say, I didn't even probably explain. If I would have wrote about the stress I had, they probably would have understood from that.
They probably would have.
Right. I think that I was kind of like so in the path of like writing in this kind of, if you will, institutionalized manner, and then like kind of like writing in the structure that was placed upon me as opposed to free. Even though I had taken creative writing courses, it took me to get older to have like more fun as a writer. I always loved music. So when I realized like hard news wasn't it, I kind of like took my dab in entertainment when the invitation was there.
And you excelled, girl.
I did. I loved it. I still talk to my editor friend and some of my publicist friends, and I'm like, I want to write again, but I think I want it to be like something I want.
Yeah, not like you don't want to do it. I mean, granted, everything needs to have a little dollar sign attached to it, but you don't want it to be your bread and butter. In that way. Yeah, like you don't want that to be your bread and butter. So, what have you done entertainment journalism wise, and like give us like your two most either proud. Give us a bad one, like oh my God, I hated this, and then give us a really really good one.
Okay. on my positive vibe. So the hated part, I can't really think of. I think what I hated most was a company I was working for and how I was treated as far as like, you know, I was very green. When I tell you I was so green, it was more like a hazing experience as opposed to, and you see my energy, I'm very honest, I'm very nice, bubbly, and it was like, oh, we don't know you type of hate. Like, how do you know?
Where was the company based out
of? They're all over. It's a huge corporation.
Oh,
it's a huge corporation.
It was no need for them to act like that then.
It's never any need for anybody to act like that and treat people.
But you know how sometimes if it's like, oh, this is the LA based company, so like you're an outsider, you're not from LA, so they're like acting funny.
I don't think it was never necessary. Well, it was similar to that because all the people on the team came from another magazine. So they were all friends, but I also had never done like music journalism. The only thing I did was I started my own blog. I actually had a blog.
Really? I can see that. This all is tracking. Like, this is all tracking.
And it's all digital.
I was going to say, during that time, everyone was blogging. And
so I had a blog in 2003 when Blogspot first launched. I was the first person on there with my 3 friends. And we had a story. So it's like,
what was it called?
It was called, damn, I wish this was like someone can call in because it's escaping me right now.
We'll come back.
I'll remember. Okay. I want to say the polka dots.
The polka dots.
Because we were all different dots and different colors, like vibrate. The same energy I have now.
So I'm about to say nothing has changed.
Right. And you see, look, the glass.
Literally.
Brittany's on her polka dot. Like, right. Yes. So that's what it was called, and we used to blog there, and that was from Blogspot. And then when I got
Blogspot, I remember Blogspot.
Right, I was one of the first people on Blogspot. Gosh. Like I was one of the first people to use like Uber Pool and test it in LA. Like
really,
I don't know. That's so interesting, and I love God for putting me in positions to start things and like plant seeds, but I didn't realize the beauty in it. Like I used to be like, oh damn, I've been trying to put people on, and they don't listen. But it's also like, everybody has their own journey. Everybody has their own pace.
You gotta let people get to that place. I got to experience I was gonna say you gotta let people get to that place at their own time.
Right.
So give us a really good so we're kind of talking around it, but you've done several celebrity interviews. You've met a lot of famous people. You've met a lot of people in the music industry. Yeah. Give us a standout. Like it could be they were a great person, or just you were able to create great content.
Do you want me to tell you like an anecdotal story? Because I have 2 stories that's like coming tag. Okay. So one of my favorite all-time moments was when I got flown to the Bermuda Triangle and stayed in Puerto Rico on this island by Bacardi USA. It was like activation they were doing with all these artists. It's a concert series.
Cool. Okay.
Amazing. And journalists, influencers, they rented out like basically all these rooms in a hotel with like it was on a mountain. You had to like get in this little like, I don't even know what it's called, guys. And I'm a journalist. I don't even have the vocabulary. I have the vision right now, so I can describe it. It kind of was like, you know how there's a tree house or something in the mountain, and you have those pulleys that like carry you down.
Yeah,
like
kind of like the ski lifts kind of thing.
Ski lifts, similar to that. But you're seeing nothing but ocean and rainforest. Oh I did bioluminescence tour.
Yes, I love a bioluminescence
right.
river.
I did everything, and then the concert was on a separate island where they boated us to it, a private island, and it was like literally designed to like host this big festival.
It sounds like what Firefight should have been.
Yes.
Okay.
You know what?
Yeah.
She's onto something. See, that's that lawyer mind. You're like, wait, they did all of that.
And they had already the blueprint was there.
Right. And I met some of my like friends that are in the journalism and like concert production, live music that I still talk to this day on that trip. It's a life-changing experience. And one of my friends who was a publicist for the company that worked for, I didn't even know her. I became friends with her through being a journalist. That was an amazing experience. I actually was supposed to, I think it was Ellie Goulding, Kendrick Lamar, and someone else. I interviewed Ellie Goulding. I was supposed to interview Kendrick Lamar, but the outlet I was working for didn't want the interview. They didn't understand how I even got there invited for free and didn't take it. So I just actually was just in the vicinity of like SZA before she dropped her. She was so sweet.
Told me that.
It was mad cool. I felt like being on the island, the peace, I'm just like earth down.
You are.
Like
you're
the
so
core.
like you like if I didn't pull this out of you, you wouldn't just talk about it. It's
no.
Yeah, it's like I pulled this out of you over the years. Like you're not one to be like, oh, I interviewed such and such, or I know such. You're so like, girl, whatever. Like
it's that, but it's like I remember the memory. I really like talking to people, learning their stories, and like feeling their energy. Like I that's one thing that I take like as a blessing, that I can have that feeling in those connections with people. So I really remember, like I'm remembering the ocean sound right now as I'm telling you. It's like, it was good. And then I interviewed Ty Dolla $ign a couple of times. I love Ty, the genuine person.
And
I love
Monica
his family.
just released a new song today.
Oh, I need to hear that. I didn't even know.
I'm slipping. Yeah, it's pretty good.
Ooh, I like that collab.
Yeah, it sounds very good. He plays
like so many, like his ear from music, the level, and he's also like the conversation too. Okay. We also have things in common.
They'll be the ones that they have a good conversation.
Well, you know what? His sister was in the music industry. I actually wrote articles about her when I was writing. Okay. And then like his parents are amazing. Okay. I actually was out to dinner. He comes from like a good family, so he's like a good human. Girl, I'm out to dinner at Katana with like a couple of friends. His parents at the next table. We end up doing shots, chilling. That's what's up. My friend obviously at the time knew his family, but his mom, like I met her before prior to. They support him. They were so supportive of him. I've had great experiences talking to him, interviewing him. Multiple times, seeing his concert. I think one of my best experiences, this is when I was living in LA, was his campaign album. Was a mixtape rollout. They did like a rooftop kind of like weed experience.
I've heard about this from someone else. I think it was on a podcast I was listening to.
Really?
Yeah,
it was
I
really
listen to
dope.
a lot of like music podcasts, and I feel like someone has talked about this before.
It was mad fun. It was a lot of, and not fun and like party hardy. It was just like vibes.
I was gonna say just a mood. Like sometimes it's just like a feeling of being somewhere.
Like, I just did this festival, Soul Bloom, where I wasn't working in the capacity of a journalist, but the energy there was just amazing.
I'm still so sad. I missed that. But if you do,
she was invited, guys.
I was invited. But my friend from Brooklyn that I just went to see, she came in town.
I wish I would have told both of them to just come that weekend.
You're gonna love Nandy when you meet her. Finally, like y'all are gonna.
You've been saying that. I'm excited. Hey, Nandy.
Yes, you're gonna love Nandy once you meet her. But yeah, trust and believe. Like next year, just when it don't even mean if you don't do that same festival, whatever festival.
She's coming. She's outside, y'all.
Okay, so
you heard her.
I am. Girl,
it's her podcast. She said she outside.
I am outside. So tell us a little bit more. So you're from New York. What part of New York are you from?
So I am from Harlem, but I actually moved to the suburbs of Rockland County. And I went to high school there, junior high school. But my parents always had a place. My family always had a place in the city.
So city girl at heart, but you did have your experiences in the suburbs.
Wait, Carisha, please.
We're gonna get there.
Okay, I'm starting to. She had me take a shot. I'm
gonna let you sip some more, and I will take us to our social buzz segment. So basically, that social buzz, Dominique, is like the segment where we talk about what has our timeline buzzing, what has our timeline popping. And
which timelines?
All of them.
All of them.
It could be this one, or
okay.
Because whatever.
Pop up on the email.
We'll get there. But I would like to talk to you a little bit about your relationship status. Okay, we'll get there though.
Okay.
All right. So Angie Martinez started a new podcast. First episode was with Lauren London, and I think it was titled "We're All Gonna Die," right?
I did see that.
Were you able to watch all of it?
I watched some and heard a little bit of the rest of it. Like, because I like to watch and see facial expressions.
Yes, so same. So I watched and I listened. So I started listening on the podcast. Then someone sent me the video, and I was like, "Need that." And then I went back and listened again today.
I love Angie Martinez. Like, that's one of
something about her spirit just seems so genuine. Like, I don't know that lady, but I promise, I feel like she's a genuine person.
So I used to intern at Hot 97.
Okay. See, y'all, she got a whole past life. That she just
I forgot about it. Until she said Angie. One of my reasons for like trying to get that internship was like I liked Angie Martinez because I liked her line of questioning, and I also liked the boundaries that she understood from the artist.
Yes.
How she would go in and she would say certain things, but she also was a fan.
Mm-hmm.
Like that was a Jay-Z. I love Jay-Z too.
Mm-hmm.
So when she used to stand out for like she loved good music.
Mm-hmm.
Like the Mary J. Blige's, the Jay-Z's, you see why she's signed to Roc Nation, why she's in. I mean, if I was look, I'm ready. Title, Roc Nation.
No, seriously.
You know what I'm saying?
Like, I definitely feel like I could see where y'all energies align, because it's like some people that I've never met this lady before. I'm just going.
I met her like twice, and it wasn't like a longevity.
Like, hey.
She probably would see me and just be like, "Oh, hi," out of respect. She doesn't know me, but it was just she gracious, but like it was more respect of the work. Like I don't know her personality. It was the craft, you know?
Agreed. And I think watching her, it's like even Lauren said it during her interview. It's like, no, I'm not comfortable talking about this, but I'm comfortable talking with you. And I'm like, I get that. And it's like certain things that I can say to you that I can't say to all of my other friends. And sometimes like
vice versa,
your angle of like thinking is so different from mine. And sometimes it'll just really illuminate a different part of me. And I'm like, I didn't even think about that. Like, it's just totally different. And so that's what I respected about the interview with Lauren. And like you said, respecting boundaries. You could tell that she was gentle in her line of questioning, but because she was, you could tell Lauren was willing to open up. It's like she wasn't coming in, because I was like, is she going to ask her about dating again? And she did.
I felt like, I mean, as
I think we all wanted to know.
You have to ask her. I mean, one of my favorite like journalistic moments, and this is also dating me, but this is back when Oprah still had her show. And I feel like Jennifer Hudson was coming on the show, and they were like, "Oh, Jennifer, don't ask in certain questions, X, Y, and Z." And Oprah was like, "This is my stage. Now, out of respect, you know, I know how to interview. I'm going to tread lightly, but you can't tell me what I cannot ask." And I think that Angie Martinez working in a radio setting, again, when you're working for someone and it's not less necessarily your show. I mean, Oprah's show was about numbers and business. Right. Radio's a different type of numbers and business game, right?
And podcast is a totally different one, but it's also
a little more liberal.
I was gonna say you can be more into what your craft is. Like, how do you want to go about this? Yeah.
And I feel like Angie Martinez's voice has paved the way for us to do, right? Her, the Chad the Guard, the Wendy Martinez, one of my favorites on BLS, I forget his name. Damn.
What is BLS?
WBLS. It probably was syndicated. I know it's syndicated in the DC area. It's like the soul channel for our parents when they didn't want to hear the Hot 97 style. They would flip on that. I think they became sister Kiss FM.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
You know, even Steve Harvey, right? He got into radio and it's been over a decade. I would assume. I'm not good with numbers, y'all. I told you. But, you know, you see and you watch the elevation in her career and even her style. You could tell that her and London have met. They've been around each other. That speaks to certain parts of relationships.
And even she said it. She was like, I wanted to start this off with someone who I know I could get energy from and they could feed me energy. And it was good energy, not... Because, you know, you can exchange energy with somebody. It don't necessarily mean it's a positive exchange.
Well, that's her baby, too. She was stepping out into the podcast world. I think having like that institutionalized mindset when you're working for somebody, when you have to tippy toe when this artist is a friend of this, don't ask this. Like you have to respect that. But kind of like it kind of also keeps you in a kind of box and protective space when you're given that freedom. You kind of still are getting used to it. And I felt that with Angie Martinez and the way that she's even been approaching her interviewing skills and like the way that she even handpicks the types of questions and then also goes with the flow. You have to
I was going to say, it doesn't feel so like, next question. Like, okay, we'll get into Carisha, please. But it's very clear with the cue cards. And I get it. It's a totally different style. But like...
Well, she's not a journalist.
Right. I was going to say, but with Angie, it feels like it's a conversation. It's like, I'm talking, oh, well, since you brought that up, how does this, you know, but you can tell they're still playing questions. It's just her ability to flow into them is very organic.
I love that. And what I will say is that there's space for, and I think that people have to realize, you're bringing up a great point. There are people that are journalists, right? And you'll say, oh, this is a journalist, but they're covering Instagram news. But then you'll hear the words that they're using and you know that this is all right, this is CNN type journalist. This is a Fox News style. I pay. That's why I'm good with. I like languages. Like I pay attention to how words are and how the sentence are structured.
You're
right.
Even talking to people, you're very big on picking up certain things.
Yeah.
I'm out here being a Pisces in my daydream world.
Well,
you know what I mean?
I daydream. Well, you know,
yes,
we're back to back, so it's like I get that, but then I feel like, you know, when you speak of like the Carisha Pleases and the other people, it's more like she's a host.
Yes.
And that's fine too. It's just, it's not even different style. She's not a journalist. Yeah. She's not even, she wasn't even a rapper all her life. You know, she's an artist.
Her personality and people's like of her personality is what got her the position.
Well, she's an Aquarius, you know, like we are.
You know, real quick, we'll wrap up Lauren London so we can go to that. I want to go to that. So I will say one of the things that stood out for me in the Lauren interview was a few things. I've always just felt really connected to her just through some of her interviews. Like I felt like one, she always gave me like real bitch vibes. Like she not in for the all rah-rah Hollywood extra stuff. I don't know that, but I've always felt that, except for the time that Nipsey announced their breakup on Twitter. I was so disappointed because it was like me and Lauren have decided to separate. I was so mad. Like, Nipsey, you a real nigga. She a real bitch. What is you doing?
You know they wasn't leaving each other.
I know they weren't. I feel like their love to me always came through on photos and video. Like, to me, it just seemed natural. You don't feel that way?
You know, I'm not going to say I don't feel that way. I just have put this boundary, a mental boundary, that everything is not what it looks.
Absolutely.
I've been, and this is not even for their relationship. It's just in general.
Yeah.
I think that for me, like I was around them. Maybe I'm trying to think. Were they together at the time that I was around them? I honestly.
You said numbers aren't your thing, so.
Right. I'm trying to think the year. I'm going back and back.
You said that's
not
your thing.
I feel as though like, unless I'm intimate, intimate, I mean, this is intimate. Yeah. So I'm speaking, you know, I'm using the word literally. I think that I don't know I know what they say. Yeah, right? Like the dynamic.
Well, whatever it is that they are feeding to us.
I felt like they were both real personalities from the media perspective, but when I was around them in the LA life, you know, I'm an empath. I felt I felt good energy.
Oh, good.
But as far as their relationship,
you just don't know.
felt like there was love. But if we're going by like not us, but like society, I like how they look together.
That's one thing. Like to say you like how they look is cool, right? Like some people just look good together. Let's just be honest. They looked good together.
Right.
But what I did appreciate was that like she was kind of like, don't romanticize that shit, because while Hustle was a very good man and he had good intentions, he didn't always do right. And she's very honest and real, and that's what you're connecting. And that it is, and it's like, and I get it, because it's like, especially like relationships are so hard, you know, it takes work.
I'm single.
And
I don't know.
Me too, sis. We'll get there. But I just appreciated that. Another thing that I appreciated that was just really random was she was like, I didn't realize that food can be healing. And I was like, I've always noticed that, very similar to me, but very different bodies.
Girl, you didn't watch Soul Food?
Well, yes, but like, no, here's what I'm about to say. This is what I was getting to. It's two things I'm gonna get to that I can connect with, I can identify with directly. She said, I have a relationship with food where like, when she's down, she eats a lot. When she's up, she can eat high vibrational foods and healing foods, right? And then I'm the exact opposite. When I'm down, I can eat very good. I can eat nothing. But when I'm up, it's like, that's when I eat bad.
Really?
That's why I'm struggling right now, because I'm getting out of like this phase.
Yeah,
of,
but
like,
you were in such a glow phase, and now you want to go have a burger?
Bitch, I just had a burger. Like, so it's like, and it's like, I get it though, because it's like, it really is. And so, and she said how her weight fluctuates, and mine does too. And
mine too.
And it's to the point that like, I was talking to one of my homeboys, or I shouldn't call him.
We were just looking in the mirror before the podcast.
Yes, I was like talking to one of my friends, and I was like, yo, I got this little pocket in my closet, it's like my fat side. And he was like,
"You
really?" And sis, I'll show you the fat side. And I said, I'm so scared to get rid of it because
some of that stuff. Like if I cute stuff, and she owes it.
Girl, it's just like I literally was like, in my mind, I'm never going back there. But it's like I know,
I like that.
I know that I got the potential to go back. Don't let me get happy.
Well, I guess it's like the reverse, because I have extra smalls and I'm nowhere near that.
I've never been an extra small.
Oh, but I bought smalls because I'm kidding.
because you're like, goals.
Yes. I do have a small top from Free People, y'all. Man, that's small now.
Yes.
This is actually a small too.
Yes. Okay, see, I don't resonate. That small doesn't.
Look, this angle, you see these boobs. I don't even know how
small
I got
doesn't even resonate with my body at all.
But you look really cute and petite. Like, I think
petite,
it's not...
short. That's about it. Not petite. I'm short.
If you look at this, for like girl, even this, like we don't even need to go there.
We have different
body
shirts
types.
We have different shirts on too. Mine is intentionally covering everything.
Oh, but that's a cute shirt.
Thank you. That resonated with me, the food thing. And the other thing is that she talked about how grief has affected her memory. And I was talking to one of my friends from law school that I reconnected with recently.
That's real deep.
And he said to me, like, oh, I remember when you used to do this in law school and that. And I was like, I never did those things. And he was like, yes, you did. And he started giving me details. And I was like, that's not me. Like, literally, I was like, that's not. He was like, Brittany, I can tell you. Like, he could remember very specific things about this time. And I was like, none of this is not registering with me.
Yeah.
And while I have not experienced grief in the sense of like loss, like death, well, I have, but I haven't experienced it from like a super close place. I have experienced grief in just some other ways. And I just realized that depression really does steal your memory as well. And I have so many things I just can't remember. Like my childhood, it's very few things. Like I remember like 5 things from my childhood.
Well, I think as humans, and that's the beauty of the human mind, you are able to control your mind, suppress, protect this protection mechanism.
I will say that's what I think I've done.
In your mind, because I don't remember half the dudes unclear. So I think I can resonate. I can resonate. That's something I'm literally like.
Some of that, like if it's a guy I just randomly mess with, some of that shit is very unclear.
I don't care if I told you I love you. Like I don't remember. Like there's some people like they'll be like, oh, it probably will be a moment in time that we like.
I probably did love you, and maybe.
Well, not even that. Like things that they can tell me about how your friend was telling you in law school, and I'd be like, I don't even remember. I didn't count you.
You were like at the library working in the computer lab. I was like, what motherfucking computer? Like I don't even remember a computer. Like
well, I think I had the same thing when you're in school. I feel
and
like,
that's the thing is that I feel like I've been so goal focused that
I was about to say that
so much to my short term memory that like my long term just is completely dead. Like I am to the point now where I want to start finding a way to work with someone to help me work on my overall like tapping back into some of those memories. I think they're still there. I just have to like do the work to get back able to tap back into
I think that some of the things are worth like connecting with and some
not
of the
everything.
things,
like I don't want to go back to trauma, but I would like to remember more
if
about
the trauma is affecting who you are today, then maybe it may be good to revisit.
So that's another thing. So then he was talking to me about shadow work, and he was like, and Lauren talked about that on the podcast. I had never heard this shadow work phrase ever. He said it to me. He's like, because I was talking to him and I was like talking to him about my depression and stuff, and he's like, have you ever done shadow work? My dumb ass was like, oh, you mean like shadow other lawyers at work?
Well, it does make sense though.
And
it does make sense.
Because we were talking about like purpose and, so I thought he was trying to say
you
like,
literally
I thought he meant like, hey, maybe you should shadow other attorneys at work so that you could kind of figure out like, what do you, is there something else you want to do? Maybe whatever. And he was like, no. So he starts telling me about his journey or whatever. And I was like, wow, I've never heard this. I went to my therapist and her style of therapy is not based on shadow work. It's cognitive behavioral therapy or whatever. And so she was like, I don't take that same approach, but she's like, for several reasons that I won't get into right now. But anyway, so he goes like, yeah, most traditional therapists, that's the style they do. He said, but I started doing, he's in therapy. Well, he was in therapy or is in therapy. And he's been doing the shadow work as well. And so he kind of explained to me some of the things that he got from it. And so like, one of the things that I know is there from the shadow work is like, I have unhealthy attachment in my relationships with men. And I know it's directly related to my relationship with my dad. I just didn't have one. So I think that like in my mind, I don't try to replace these men with my father at all. Like not at all. But
you're not going into
like, oh, you're gonna make me feel love like my daddy never did. Like I don't feel that way at all. But like I'm starting to notice that like you get into these relationships and you're like super attached and you have a very hard time detaching yourself, and it's like it's very unhealthy.
Well, it's that and your Pisces. Like
don't even
when y'all in love, we do. It's like it's crazy. It's like Leos are always in relationships. And I'm saying this like it's not a bad nothing.
This is my Chris brother. She's talking about you, Chris. I'm sorry.
And my brother George, he's married.
My brother is in a relationship, but he's always in a relationship. He's never not in a relationship.
Right. So as a Pisces, and then you have to give your perspective, your life, your everything, that the background. I think like, there's something about not having a father figure, because I think also, I don't know if it's an innate thing. And I haven't done the research, but I'm probably going to get into a rabbit hole. I'm going to put this on for later.
No, this is her though. This is her bag.
Right. But like, I also am thinking like, is society telling us we need a 2-parent household? Because when you think about species in the wild, their father leaves and grazes. The mother takes them for a couple of times.
That's true.
Like did American society tell us like, 2-family household? And you think about like,
and they created during the standard in our head,
the commercials that were shown,
right? And then now we're thinking that's the standard. So when it doesn't match up with that standard, now we're like, I'm missing something.
But then there's that for us, what they taught us. But then when you take it back hundreds of years prior to, they were ripping our families apart. So we got the feeling of our fathers watching, and not our literal fathers. Let me be clear, this is generational.
Right.
American history. You watching, your father is watching his wife being raped, his daughters and sons being taken from him. So the family
and daughters being raped sometimes.
Right, the family is being broken up. And then you have generations of generations. Now America's saying the family dynamic, stay at home.
Like, it's so important. Like,
and it's like, we haven't been at home. You didn't even give us the unity message.
I had a conversation at work one day where I had to kind of let this lady, she wasn't even from America. Like, my company's worldwide, and we have people in Estonia or whatever.
Worldwide.
I did just see stuff. She started commenting about Black History Month, about how Black History Month, like, didn't celebrate Africa, and she felt like it should have celebrated Africa. And I was like, first off, sis, Black History Month never came from a celebration of Africa. It came from Negro History Week, which was a time to celebrate us as African American people in this country. And I said, to celebrate the culture that we were forced to create. I said, because y'all ripped us away. I was going to say, y'all ripped us away from what we knew as culture. I was like, so we're here celebrating what we were forced to create. And I was like, and what we were forced to create now runs this whole world. We are the basis for all of this shit. If it's fly, if it's fun, if it's cool, if it's the music, whatever, it starts here. It starts here from somewhere.
And not only that, like, I also agree with that, but I also think that like genetically and spiritually, when you like the way your hips move, the music, the food, the culture, that all comes from the motherland, because that's where we're all from.
Because think about how this is gonna sound real crazy, but follow me for a second. I love a good twerk. You know, me and you, we get along because me and her, when we go out, we're dancing. We're like, we're the friends that like, we're gonna dance, we're gonna have a good time.
We're requesting songs.
Yeah, like she loves some Nicki. She'll be like, you can play some Nicki. Like, that's her all day. So
she got a new song coming out.
She does. And I like the little promo video she did. I said, go ahead, Nicki. She did look cute.
No bar.
So I said, we're shaking our ass over here in our own way. But when you look back at how they're moving their hips and their bodies and they're winding, when you're talking about in Africa, or you're talking about, in the West Indies or whatever, it's like the same type of thing. It's just not quite as like sexualized.
It's the like, food too, though. It's the dancing, the food.
Did you watch the show on Netflix? God, it came out maybe in 2020, 2019. And the guy goes back to like Africa and tries to find how the soul food directly relates back to Africa. I would love to see that show. I saw Netflix. I have to look it up. I cannot remember what it's called. And it was so cool because it was like, damn, here we are thinking like, all right, you know how we cook our greens and meat or whatever. So like he talks about like, okay, where did the idea of using meat to season your food comes from? So you would go and see, and it wouldn't be greens, but it would be something other vegetable.
I just watched it. So crazy you said that. This dude on Instagram made pork and spinach, and then I don't know the proper terminology, but it was like the dough. It's kind of like the fufu, I believe it's called.
I've heard of that before. African food.
And well, see. African food, each country,
you're right. I don't know what part of Africa, but I've heard of that related to African
I
food
feel like
somewhere.
It's more like a West African that I've heard it, because it's definitely not East African, Somali, Ethiopia. But he was actually from Ghana.
Okay.
He was from Ghana, and I was watching it on Instagram, but I'm not sure what and you guys gotta like when this goes live, I hope
they got it. They will. They'll tell us.
Because I was like, the crispy pork, he cut up the pork belly, seasoned it with spinach. I love bacon. And I like pork belly.
Oh, that's right. That pork belly we had. Where we at? Juliet? Was that the one?
Yes. Like, I love pork belly. But I don't eat that though, y'all. No.
You have a very good relationship with food, though. Like, you know how to consume and enjoy yourself, but you also know how to scale it back when it's time to scale it back.
You want to know what? The Lord has blessed me with a sensitive stomach. I have allergies. I can't even have dairy. Like,
so I can't either, but so I have a sensitive stomach, but the difference is that when you abuse it to a certain level, it just allows you to take it there.
The Lord don't let me take it there.
That's the thing, is that, like, I've been very, very sick before, but I'll leave it alone for a while, then I'll go back. So you
don't remember the sickness? You're glutton for pain.
But then you kind of like, you lose a good 6 pounds, and you're like, okay, once every year and a half, I'll lose a little 6 pounds.
I forget. My cousin Monica was like, girl, I will never forget. I went to Pitchfork Festival for the first time in Chicago. And girl, I had a cheeseburger. When I tell you, I thought it was food poisoning. I called an Uber. I had to leave the
festival.
Like,
so, because you can't tolerate beef.
Girl, it was a cheese. It was a slice of American. My cousin had been telling me, yo, every time I'm around you eat dairy, you're sick.
And you get
she was telling me because she's vegan.
One slice of cheese.
You got to meet her too. She's in the DMV.
Okay.
You will like her.
Okay.
She's so sweet. And she was like, Dominique, you should just change your diet. I went vegan. Just stop eating dairy. Start there. And I was like, girl, you're vegan. Would get like sick after dairy, would be like tired. Like, I mean, lethargic. You see how high energy? It's like kryptonite for my body. So it was a wrap. And that is when I was like, and before that I had like allergies. And I think you know what the allergies is from? Like, I also watched this video on Instagram. Speaking of timelines. This girl was talking about like allergies, and she has 21 siblings, and like her 21 siblings, the first person in her family that got allergies was the one that's like born half American, half right. And I was just like, clearly it's the air and the hormones and this, because I eat cheese when I lived in Italy. And like we just like that's part. Didn't have any. I was a size 4.
It's funny. Wow, that's crazy. I've never been.
Unclear. It was I remember these 7 jeans I had to throw away with the spot. I had rhinestones on the back, acid wash black. I couldn't believe I couldn't get in them. I had mad fly shit.
Well, you know, I'll say, I think I've said on this podcast before, and I'll say it again. It's that grown woman weight. So we got to embrace that grown woman weight, you know? It's like we're preparing our bodies to be mothers. And
not for nothing. I don't know. I was like, I gained, freshman 15 in grad school. I don't know if you in law school.
You told me that.
Girl, I had pictures. I had to archive all my journalism pictures.
I remember you told me that. Yeah.
If I take you on my phone and I'm like, yo, and it's not like I archived them because I was like looking crazy, because I was, but I was living. It was some of the best times of my life. Like, I just was enjoying life. I remember like I was spending $200 a week on weed. Like, I was in grad school, like grinding out, like 13 months master's degree. Like, that's crazy.
Oh, wow. So you did.
And I had a job. I worked at the school at the camera store because I didn't know how to use the camera. I had to learn about, like, I'm always like, how can I
double my effort at one time?
Yeah,
but how can I get out of this as quickly as possible?
Well, how can I also get something from and get into? I like talking to people. If I got to talk to people and I'm going to meet people, work at the camera store. And they hired me. Right. I was making $10,000 an hour in 2013. Like 2011, 20, like, yeah, that's nothing.
So, and you learned like a lot from the experience to like get started.
I feel like when you think about it, I'm just, I love the Lord. We talk about God all the time. And I feel like everything, when you're connected to God, you look back and been like,
purpose in everything.
Right, you've been like, thank you, God. Like, even, you've been through,
you know what it was? A clip that's been going around all day of Jay-Z on Kevin Hart's in the show.
I saw that.
And
I saw that.
Yes, and he says, that nothing happens to you. Things happen for you. And I said, I believe that's when you know you're connected to a greater purpose, because when you can say, like, that is where I'm at right now. And I think I've talked about this to y'all before, is that I know that I might be in a tough time, not necessarily right now, but I have been in tough times. And when you can say, God, I know I'm in a rough spot. Let me see the lesson from this so that I can move into this next chapter. Because sometimes you cannot elevate to that next level or that next phase until you learn the lesson in that phase. But it's about the mindset is, yes, this is hard. This sucks. I'm struggling, Lord. But what is it that you're trying to teach me here? What do you want to illuminate to me so that I can see that and move on? Because things happen for you to learn something. Like,
And if you don't think like that, sometimes it's like that anger, the hate,
Was it the Angie Martinez episode with Lauren when she said you don't have a real relationship with God until you question why? And I said, baby, when you start asking God, yes,
that's why you probably vibe, and why you said they work well together. The energy, because it's not how they look; it's the energy.
It was,
and people, you got to use that more, because what if you were blind and couldn't see that podcast?
I could feel that.
You could feel it. The feeling you get, to me, is what people should be tapping into. That gut. Like, yeah, you look fine. Yeah, he's hot. Or yeah, she's pretty. Mm-hmm. But like, if you at the core, how does your
soul make people feel? You know,
and if that, that was going back to Maya Angelou. I interviewed her.
I did not know you interviewed her.
I want to find the recording. I have all these interviews like recorded on my when she won a National Book Award. I interviewed her. She tried to kick me out the room. She was like, "Girl, you were here already. Let some other people come in." I was like, "No, I'll be quiet. I would not leave."
I know that's right. Like, now I'm experiencing this.
And just put my recorder on and shut up. I was stumbling over questions. Again, I was working for BET. They just like, "You're going here. It's Maya Angelou." I'm green. I'm just like, I'm
going. You said I'm going. I'm going. Right.
So I created a list of questions. They wanted these questions. I wanted to know more about her childhood, the books I read, And I actually, I will never forget. We were taking a picture. I want to take a picture of her. And I was neat. She was in a wheelchair at this time. Speaking of energy, I knew she wasn't healthy, and I knew it wasn't long. You could feel it. Mm-hmm. She died not too long after that. Oh, wow. And I leaned down, like I bent down, like kind of like if you were sitting in the chair. Mm-hmm. She was like, "You only kneel to God. I'm not God. You better stand up and hold your head up in this picture, girl."
I love her.
I swear to you.
Oh my God.
I'm not lying. I'm dead ass.
Yes, Black woman. Yes.
It was
Black women, we are healing, we are everything.
She told me that, and it was two other journalists, one from like New York Times. I was from I was like, okay, y'all told me I'm going. Toni Morrison also got an award.
Okay.
They shared the stage.
Did you get to talk to her?
She was not. I was in Maya Angelou's room. I didn't leave. Mm-hmm. That's what I was signed to do, and I wasn't getting up because only 3 journalists were allowed to talk to her.
And look at you.
It was actually my editor was supposed to go when she threw it to me.
When you are in that number, you gotta accept that God wanted you to be there.
I was 20-something.
Think about
it was
that.
over.
That's not.
It was like I want to say 10 years ago. Yeah, it was 10 years ago. 10 to 12, and I was like shooketh. And when she said that to me, I got up. Like I said, this is like. Like grandma
talking to you. Yeah.
I got up so quickly, and she looked at me. She said, "Girl, get up." Mm-hmm. And I was like, "Thank you, Brittany," because I'm getting the chills just thinking about it.
That's what's up, though.
I had the picture still, and it was blurry. How people took it real quick. I posted that. That's one of the archives too. Though.
Okay, so we talked about Lauren and Angie. Let's move on to be a little ratchet. Let's
ratcheta.
We'll talk about another podcast.
Okay.
Carisha, please, did you watch it yet?
I only watched the clips, to be honest.
It was wild.
On Instagram because my auditory
that's the same thing that I have. That's my God. The same thing that I said on my last episode of the podcast was that it's very hard for me to listen to her. No shade. This is not shade, but her vocabulary is very limited. And so it's very hard for me to listen to her repeat the same few things over and over again because it's like there's so many words in the English language and you're choosing to use the same 5 phrases. It was very stressful to me, the first episode. This second one was a little different because Kevin Gates Kevin gated the whole episode. And
I'm not a fan of his dialogue as
I'm not a huge fan of it, but first off, his accent is just, it does something to me. I'm not even gonna lie. Child. But hearing this man speak about sex be having me thinking, like, I don't think I would really want to have sex with him, but it has me very, very curious. He speaks about it in such a pleasing to the woman way that I'm like, Like, he bathes his women before,
You want to know what he gives me?
Okay. Oh, Lord. No. Okay, what? Because it's about to be wild. And I'm about to agree with you.
I get the pleasing, but he's just so broken and traumatized that I probably would be trying to heal him. And
he says that though, so he
I know.
I'm
not saying that, but through sex, I don't think it would be
a good way to transfer energy.
Not for me being in the high vibrational and the place that God has me now. What he says to me is talk.
It's funny that you should say that. It's funny that you should say that because he makes it a point to say, because she asked him, "Are you really the way that you're saying?" And,
I believe that.
He goes like, he's like, he said, "Yeah, you probably saw that part." And so for me, I'm like, I kind of do believe him, and it made me feel like Carisha. He's pretty much saying you're not living your raps. You out here talking about you sucking, fucking, and doing all this stuff. And he's kind of trying to tell you a little bit like
she is. So
she might be. I don't know, but she didn't talk about it, so whatever. But it had me curious. I'm not saying I'll be like, oh, I want to fuck Kevin Gates, but it definitely had me curious. It was
intriguing to hear a man be so confident in that
and desiring
position.
to please a woman and to be so descriptive. I'm like, say it again. What you say one more time? Like, run it back.
I felt like when I was watching the clips and what he was saying was like good, but like
but you just don't like his energy.
I'm not okay. I think like I'm not the girl that like I don't like looking at shit. If you're not for me and I can't have that,
then it's like
I don't like window shopping. I don't like going to the mall just
I'm not like that either.
So hearing him and I know that like, all right, this is probably the energy. He said he likes to eat the pussy, put his whole tongue in it. He's sucking everybody like that.
Buttholes too.
Right. I don't want him because that's what you're doing for that. Like, I need to know that if I see you, this is the only. Like,
he's giving you for the streets energy.
Like, not necessarily. Okay. It's not necessarily for the streets. It was so unrestricted as to the pleasures, but what
it's
he
almost
didn't
like,
describe
why are you so open about talking about this too? Like, I do. For me personally, I do like my man. Like, I want you to be nasty, but I want you to also not be just talking
single.
about
maybe
it.
He's single, and
now I think he is.
I think maybe he's just putting it out there, like for all.
But he's been putting it out there since he was married. Let's be honest. Well, they married. They was married, right? Him and Drika.
I am not like a big follower of Kevin Gates' lifestyle, but I do like a couple of songs.
Yeah,
like,
so
I'm more of the artist.
My brother put me onto him, and so like he makes headlines a lot because he says wild stuff.
Yeah,
but I'm pretty
he's like
sure,
a boozy, but like in the
almost
different
holistically kind of way.
Yeah, like
because Carisha was like, you put baby oil in her bath, and he laughed. He was like, baby oil. He was like disgusted because he's almost like, that's like a chemical product. He was like, no, I put eucalyptus and coconut oil in her bath. And, it was like, I like that.
You see the two different.
Yes, it was like, and she thought like, oh, a man put baby oil in my water. That's sexy. And he was like, that is offensive. Like,
she knows that he ain't putting no baby. Well, I mean, if
he might be.
But if she asked,
he might be putting.
But if she asked, I mean, like a dude that's gonna give you what you want.
Yes, giving you what you want.
But
when you would say if you're offended by the fact that you would think I would even want to put baby oil in your bath, it's like, I want you to be pure. Like he's like, that don't belong up in your coochie. Like for a man to know that, it was just very sexy. I mean, but
why wouldn't he know that he loved inside a woman? Like there's a lot of men.
For sure.
I like I wonder what his sign is because he gives me big
Aquarius. I believe him and Miami are both the same.
The same sign. Yeah. So he gave me like for his like his energy as far as like pleasing a woman, but I can see the Aquarian in him because he's very dominant. Like he's that's what's more attractive than all the sex shit you're talking about.
Okay.
To me, the fact that way he carries himself and the energy of like how he would like position his woman.
Right.
So in that positioning leads into the bedroom. That's what I took.
It does. I took
like the whole.
I don't want a man that openly talks like that, but I don't ever have to talk to me about that.
But I don't like
but
it.
If you're actually doing that, it's the more important thing. Like I would love for you to be unassumingly treating me that way. Like you're out here fucking me good, giving me the best head, doing whatever, making me feel good.
That's a prerequisite to be in a relationship.
Ooh, let's get there.
So
hold on, pause. We can go back to that. We gonna come back. We gonna run that
back.
I'm
gonna remember that one.
Run that back, Turbo. Okay, we gonna run that one back. Okay, so we'll leave that alone real quick before we move into our topics for real. Me and you had a very brief discussion about this. Tristan and Chloe. Chloe has a surrogate that's pregnant with Tristan's baby. That apparently her baby was put into the womb in November, and I think in December it was either her baby was put in the womb in October, and then November she found out he had the baby by the other girl, or either November is when she put her baby in, and then December is when we found out about the other girl. Mm-hmm. I'm not found out about her, but when he got the other girl pregnant.
You know how the timeline is unclear.
I looked into the timeline because that's the part that had me very curious.
Okay.
So we know that Chloe has said in the show in the past. I mean, I know you don't watch it, but I've always been a big fan. She mentioned that, like, above all else, she wanted her children to have the same father. So she had mentioned, even when they weren't on good terms in the past, that, like, her children having the same father was important to her. Mm-hmm. I assumed that she would only do that if she was in a relationship with him and they were happy. I would assume she wouldn't conceive a child with him if they were in, like, a weird space. Now, granted, they did conceive this child by surrogate when they were in a semi-okay space. So I just want to know, just general. I know, because we can go on this for hours because they're such a interesting family. But what are your thoughts on that initially?
I think initially for me, obviously, this is like the celebrity gossip that they put out there. But for us to like, you know, digest and actually comment about, and, you know, leave the comment section. I just think that what I do see is a common thread of having and conceiving and bringing children into the world with men that are not necessarily have done the work or healed or going through issues.
Wow.
It made me think about when Kim Kardashian and Kanye had their 2 additional kids, and
she already knew he was unstable. Like,
I mean, the bipolar. There was a lot of other things going on with Kanye, and, you know, when you think about planning and just being I'm a Black woman, like, planning and preserving, you know, the sanity for my husband and just a safe space. Having a kid is a lot. It's different energy. Is you know, you talked about depression and the things that we already have, you know, innate, generational, but then societal things. I would be more, and this is just me, but I would hope that take away me. Let's take away my person. Let's make it more logical. When someone is in a more vulnerable state mentally and they can't really care for themselves, I wouldn't think that it's appropriate to put another human life upon them to also take care of.
Okay.
So
you feel like it's almost a little selfish?
I think it's
not well thought out.
It's not. I think it's very planned and thought out. I just think it's indicative of the focus of, this is the baby's father. My child is great. I've seen how they fathered the child. Financially, I don't need them, but you know, this cultivated liquid gold Black male sperm is amazing.
I was waiting for you to get there because I could feel you easing into that, but
I mean, I had to give because
I know what you're saying.
You know, and so it just made me flash back into that. I mean, Tristan's sperm wasn't stolen if it's conceived, but they also haven't both spoke about it. This is just an announcement. We don't fucking know.
It hasn't even been an announcement. It's just a leak or whatever you want to call it. But I mean, we haven't officially heard from anybody on either side.
I think when you're looking at the amount of people that are adopting, that like this 10-year-old girl's big news headline that was raped and had to have an abortion, and you see this, and then you see these wealthy people, and they want their own genetics, but creating homes where it's kind of like single parent, but people that are at day-to-day that are like can't afford to live like them, can't even afford to be single parents, and they can't even have that life, but now they're being forced into it. It's kind of like with everything going on, you look at that, but then, you know, that's not my personal life. I just feel as though you know, what I would say is people that are seeing how people behave, and not people that you idolize, even the time and energy. I mean, I've been watching, you know, the clock, we spent 2 minutes on them. I just think that people, especially people that look like, you know, look like me, should think about, like, what does this mean for the mentality, the psyche? Like, he has no problem just, having kids.
Multiple, and doesn't care.
And that's okay if your job is, you want to just populate and procreate. She knew him. Why not have the first child was healthy? Could be a genetic reason. I'm all for, I'm also, like, I understand the concept of breeding.
Mm-hmm.
Makes sense to me. When you think about preserving the human race and that sort. But I think just within that family, I'll go back to, what we saw happen to Kanye. And I think that Tristan clearly, like, from how they even portrayed him on the show, and I'm just going through that lens. Mm-hmm. If anybody was saying that they were in love with you, they're cheating, they're doing all this, they're not stable because they're a liar. Mm-hmm. So there's something deeper. Mm-hmm. And for you to have a child during someone trying to heal themselves is just it's a little, not even, it's selfish, but it's also deceptive and manipulative to me.
Agreed. Because y'all are putting out this image of like, oh, he's so terrible, he's such a bad person, and then it's like, oh, she's forgiving. Oh, look at us, we're having a baby, and then it's like, oh, he's so terrible. So either way,
it's a narrative that's like a puppet string.
And here's the thing, I'm a big Kardashian. I have a Kim Kardashian book on my coffee table. I'm a big Kim fan, but within reason, right? Like, she's not one of those, she can't do any wrong, or I don't see their bullshit for what it is.
I love them. I mean, I watched I remember when the first episodes when Kim was married and she was married to a black guy, and she literally said how her father disowned her. Yeah. I remember I watched them. It's not. It's been like
2007 when they first started, I think.
I mean, I watched the Chrisleys. Don't get me wrong. I love a good family show. I used to watch the Cosbys, like, and this is like the reality version, if you will, of 2020 of family dynamics, blended families or big families. The Cosby wasn't blended.
This is a pretty big family for it to be in today's day and age, because someone Chris's age doesn't typically have 10 plus grandchildren. That's not how we're creating families anymore. So,
I think when you say we are, I think you have to look into, first of all, with the racial lens, and a lot of people hate to look at it like this, but America's a country that's based off race. Like, that's our history. That's just that's the first thing you should look at with everything when you're talking about America. Now, if you're talking about different countries, different cultures, race may not be a factor. It could be class, it could be, but America, like, our history, race is ingrained. Any historian will tell you that. Any person philosophers will tell you. But what I will say is that, like, I think that we are still doing that. There's a bunch of people in America. If you think about the we of being Americans, people are still having big families.
But I just don't know a lot of people like. I would say from my own personal lens.
I think that when you think about, like, your personal lens, and then, like, but not because you're in the metaverse. There's a lot of people that come across your feed that are from big families.
I'm from a big family. I just don't see us.
Your friends.
My grandma had 7 kids. From there, she had 17 grandchildren, and now I think probably 15, maybe 17 great-grandchildren, right?
Can we talk about how, I feel like I haven't met Brittany's grandma, but her grandma looks just like my great-grandma, Elizabeth, and my great-grandma's from the same place as her. I think they're just like cousins, sisters, something. And I haven't showed you a picture. And it's so crazy, when I went home, I forgot to take a picture of the picture. But when you see it, you're going to be like, they look... She looks like our grandma Elizabeth.
Yes,
like,
I love my grandma. Like, that's my girl. And
yeah, y'all like besties.
We
like
are actual besties. Like, I love her. I can't wait to go home and, like, just be in her presence. It's so pure. It's
right.
So, like,
and it's a
just
vibe.
Comforting. It's like, dang, like, all this other stuff, it really don't even
and y'all just be chit-chatting,
Girl, she be like, you still don't have a boyfriend. I'll be like, grandma, it's not that easy. This is her. She'll be like, right now. She don't. And here's the thing. I'm about to tell her. This is what I told her the last time. You can laugh at this. So the last time she was like, you don't have a boyfriend. I just don't understand. You're beautiful. And, you take good care of yourself. And I just don't understand. I was like, grandma, it's not that easy. So then I said, let me break it down for you, grandma. She said, okay. And I said, grandma, these men don't have no money. Then it registered. Oh, they can't afford to do more for you than what you can do for yourself.
Grandma got crystal clear.
I said, grandma, you know how Papa was taking care of you? I said, these men out here. I said, and I'm cool with splitting the bill. But if we would split bills, I need you to come through with the gifts, the vacations, those things. I need you to come through that way for me. But they can't even do that. So it's like,
and it's the fact that like I don't think that people understand communicative languages.
Mm-hmm.
It's not that everybody's broke, and I'm learning that.
Mm-hmm.
It's that they're broke when it comes to you, and that is
girl,
what
I just had
like in the words of Nikki, that is what get.
No, I just told my friend that the other night. We were on the phone. It was mad late. Him and I were talking, and we're talking about our past relationships. And I was just saying, like I said, I'm very damaged. I said because I'm such a loving person. If I have it and I love you, it's yours.
I'm gonna give right.
And it's like if it's your birthday. I don't care if I spend $10 or if I spend $1,000. You're gonna feel very thought of in whatever I. And
if you. Especially if I fuck with you, it's a great time.
It's just like I want you to feel good, right? And so like I remember, being in relationships where I was doing that for the person, and then it would come time for it to be done for me, and it's like. What is this? And it's not about the cost.
And it's not about like, it's reciprocity. It's reciprocity.
Yeah, where's the thought? And so then I was like, okay, well maybe it was a money issue, right?
No.
But then I would look around and it's like, nah, you was buying whatever the fuck you wanted to buy. You just didn't want to spend that money on me. And that's the hurtful part is that like I would set aside money to say this is allocated to what I'm doing here for this person specifically. And that money's not getting touched. It's like I'd sacrifice my own happiness
lunch.
To get that. Yeah,
whatever. I could have bought bags. I could have went on trips. I could have put down my IRA.
All kind of stuff. All kind of stuff you could have done. And it's like, but I allocated this money for you. And then it comes to be my turn. And you're buying this little bullshit ass gift that, again, it's not about the cost. It's about the thoughts and the effort put into what you're doing. Because it could be $10 and make me feel like $1 billion.
It's not even that. It's effort. I want to double click. On effort because it's the frequency of what you vibrate when you're coming. Because if you sat there and you really thought about it, and I get that some people are like, I'm not good at getting gifts. I totally understand that.
Me too.
But when you understand your partner, they could have communicated that because you would have been like, if someone came to you and was like, babe, I'm not good at getting gifts. How could I make your day? We don't have any problem telling you and helping you because we're helpers. We just helped you for your birthday. And why wouldn't we help ourselves?
Or it's just like, I'm such a talkative person and I'm so open. It's like, it shouldn't even be that fucking hard. Like you see the little things that make me happy. And I mean this on the most basic ass level. There's like a particular like.
Because you be getting hype. Like if someone, like if I were to bring Brittany a flower and she was just like,
oh my God,
you thought of me and then
yes, or even like there's this particular bottle of like Prosecco that I like. It's under $20.
Wait, I didn't know about this.
Yes. And it's like, I should have brought that, but I wanted you to feel at home.
No, I appreciate you.
But it's a particular Prosecco that I really, really enjoy. And so like.
Oh, I did have it with you, but I don't have a picture of the bottle. When I came to your house and I was like, it's pretty good. Yes.
So, anyhow, like we're talking about, you go to the grocery store to pick up the groceries for dinner tonight and you bring home a bottle of that. And it's like, hey, I brought this because it's for you, And so
it's a thought for us.
It is. It's the thought for me every single time. And so for me, the problem is that it's the thought, but I know how to put money behind that thought. So my gifts are going to be thoughtful and expensive, but I don't necessarily expect that back. But it's like, but it would be nice if like occasionally, you don't have to do it for birthday, Christmas, anniversaries, whatever. But it would be nice that if once a year you showed up for me in the level that I show up for you at least. On that level, when it comes to like,
I don't think I have a least. Like I'm a maximum type person.
You are.
So yeah, I am.
You are.
Like I feel like,
and I wish I could be like that, but I'm so scared of putting somebody out. But I'll put myself out to make someone else happy.
I put myself out all the time, but
do.
What I learned, and I think that's why I've had. I don't think I wouldn't say that's why I'm single because there's no reason why I'm single, but God. It's just not my space right now because I really want to be married, right?
You do.
So I'm thinking of it in a sense of the longevity that's like somebody doing this.
You're thinking of like long term. I don't want least long term. If we're gonna be together for the rest of my life, I want maximum. Like I want us to always match each other and feel. And
sometimes we're human.
It goes up and down, right? But you're not thinking with the lack mindset of like the least you can do is this. It's like no, you can do more than least because we're gonna be together forever.
Because I'm always gonna be
right.
My vibe is just like ascend. I'm a total oxymoron, grounded ascension.
Okay.
Like I'm fully grounded. I know my origins, my values. I know God, but I'm also ascending. Mm-hmm. So it's like if you are giving me your minimum, I get that if that's only what you can afford, right? Mm-hmm. But I feel like that's not someone I should be dating at the frequency I'm at right now. If your minimum is here, and not only that, your energy me, because when I'm talking about certain things,
it's like if you can't even see where I'm. Oh God,
it's just because men like they'll either ride your wave and go with you, but it's becomes resentment. Like certain people, I don't even think it's men. People, yes, because I feel like you can take gender out of this because women, men, transgender, humans, right? If you're this type of human that hasn't done the self work. I will not resent nobody because I don't regret anything I do. I do everything because I want to do it.
Yes.
I don't do it because there's a reward.
I had to. So it's so funny you should say that. That's something I've been working on right now, right? So coming out of my last relationship.
First of all, I have on like boom boom shorts.
And you got to pull them down a little
bit.
Because girl, your coochie start getting all tight.
Coochie cut us. Body right us.
Yes.
I know.
So from my last relationship, you know, I felt like I gave him so much of me. And I'm not talking about money. I'm talking about I gave him me. I poured into him in so many ways. And so I left that relationship and I was like, I'm never, ever doing this for a man again. He gonna have to jump through hoops of fire and all kinds. But listen, I had to really retrain my mind, right? I was like so cut off, so guarded, so like to the point where like, I'm not gonna lie, come up here, I talk about bad dates that I've been on. I'm not gonna say that some of those dates are not the man's fault, like I explained it, but there are times where I probably was giving off negative energy as well. So it was like negative me and negative, and now
I love how, like, let's pause real quick, keep that in mind. But I just love how accountable you are.
It's something I work on so much.
But that's how we vibe.
It is. It's like, and you know, or like if I'm having a bad fucking day, I'm not gonna come around y'all and go out with y'all because it's
you
like
said that
I will be. Like, you'll be like, damn, this is Debbie Downer ass energy. It's like I don't want to do that because I know my energy is infectious. I know I have that power. I know it is one of my superpowers. I can come into a room and I can take it here, or I can take it here. And if I know that I'm in the space where I'm gonna take it here, I'm gonna leave y'all alone. Y'all have a good time. Y'all enjoy yourself. I'm gonna go over here and deal with myself and get myself back to the place I need to be. But back to my point was that like I was like, I'm never gonna treat a man like this. It's never gonna be. It's never gonna be that. And I've slowly started to come out of that saying like therapy and just thinking about it. I am such a loving person, and it's not because I want a reward in return. I enjoy loving on people, and I don't mean love like romantic love. I enjoy loving on my friends. I enjoy sending you a message, hey Dominique, how are you doing? And meaning it from my heart, or I'm proud of you, or sharing what you have going on.
It's genuine.
It is. It's like I love being in that space. It makes me feel like my highest self, right? So what do I look like letting a relationship with somebody that did not work out and never going to be a part of my life again affect how I treat other people moving forward? That is crazy. It's crazy.
This is the drum roll. This is the moment. This is the elevation. This is self-worth. And a lot of my, well, no, I wouldn't say a lot because I don't have mad friends. But my close friends, I have a tribe, my girls. And it's so crazy because they're in like multiple states, different countries, everything, you know, the vibes. And like at least 3 of them within the tribe is, and they don't all know each other, but are going through relationship woes, some divorce, some not. And what we've talked about is having the faith and taking from the relationship, but not like, we're not bitter.
It's hard.
Angry Black woman or bitter. You when you reach a certain level, you have that ability to take from the lesson, but it's not everybody's fault. This was, and you're also taking accountability.
It's a lesson in discernment.
Yeah,
I can continue being this loving and amazing person to people.
That's who
I
you
just
are.
have to choose the right people to be it too.
Right.
And it's like for me,
everybody.
It's been so many things we haven't talked about lately, but I've been losing friends left and right and this, and I'm like, God, what are you doing? Like I can't, like everything around me is just crumbling down, right?
Child.
And so
we may need another episode.
No, we might. Because it's been consistently happening. And so I said, God, what are you doing? I said, you know what? You cannot pray that you are for discernment and to make sure the people around you that you're pouring into them what they can pour into you. But then people start disappearing. They're disappearing because he's showing you they don't have what you to give to you, what you have to offer. And so now I've met somebody that I'm like, you know, a little more interested in, that I've probably been interested in.
Oh my God.
No, we're not going to talk about that on here.
Wait, does he have friends? And cousins, brothers, something?
I don't know.
Girl, but get more interested and let me know.
I will. But I've met somebody I'm more interested in than I've probably been in since my breakup a year ago.
Oh,
and
look at
I'm learning, girl.
This.
I said interested.
I mean, I said I love this because you went from uninterested.
Girl, you know I was.
So I said I love this because I was. You don't want to ascension, guys. So I see you. I see you vibrating high, boyfriend, right? I need a little more. I need a little more.
Okay, here we go.
We're getting juicy.
Yes. So, you know, he's also coming from a damaged place. And it made me realize that, like, you know, there was something I was thinking of that I wanted to do for him. And I was like, I'm not going to do it. Because, like, I'm not going to do that. Like, you know, these niggas don't deserve nothing. And it's like, no, he hasn't proved to you he doesn't deserve it. Like, everything that he's done up until this point has been good energy, good vibes. He makes you feel better about yourself. Like, so how dare you let this man that damaged you and hurt you in the past stop you from pouring into somebody that don't have nothing to do with that?
I feel you on that, and I really resonate with the ability to know what's emotional and what's logical, right? Logically, he doesn't have anything to do with the person, but emotionally, you still feel that. However, I feel like that kind of day-to-day human, I wouldn't even call it a struggle. I would use more of the word challenge, because struggle
gives off pain. And
you don't probably vibe because you're a lawyer, and like the law, like the words mean certain things in law, right? That's probably why I love and I'm still have all these law books in the study. But anyways, like the fact that you're saying, okay, logically, I know that this man he doesn't even know my history.
He doesn't.
His perception, he has nothing to do with this. I have to be pure to him. But you have to be pure to yourself, because he may also not. Yeah, he may not.
But guess what? I'm not going to be resentful for that, because it's going to be like, I'm doing it from a place of love,
and you're not coming in toxic with him.
And it's like I'm not doing it to like manipulate him into like it, like none of that. It's like this is. I remember I told my therapist like, this is what I'm thinking about doing, and I was like, but my friends were telling me like, girl, don't do that. And it's nothing crazy, y'all. I just want to be clear. I don't be out here just doing whatever. But it was something really small, kind gesture. And so I was like, I'm thinking about doing it. She's like, stop. Don't think about doing it. Are you this person at your core? When it comes to you and how you deal with your friends and your family, if you didn't have this toxic relationship in your past, would you do this thing? And I said I would. And she said,
I love your therapist.
She said, so go do that. And so I did it.
I need that number.
Yeah. Yeah, she's great. And so, you know, I'm still anxious because he was supposed to get it today, but he didn't get it today. So I'm like really anxious for him.
But you guys have been in a good place.
Yeah. It's FedEx. It's FedEx. That's why he didn't get it yet.
So you got him a little gift.
I got him a little gift to celebrate something.
You see how we like? I love that. I'm a gift giver.
I am too.
One of my love. Well, I'm in all the love languages, but gifts to me.
Gifts is my number one.
But that's why, like this, you get me, like, and we get each other. Like she got the Moet because she knows like how we get like.
And so I'm like, if there's something small I can do to make you feel good about your day,
right?
Like, what is that?
Like she has a. I looked over there. This candle I just bought her. I was like, I'm just coming over.
But you see how it's not being burnt. It's like an actual
but it's
piece.
Really it's pretty in your home.
It is. And
it's
I'm like,
purple.
It's a piece. Yes.
I was at TJ Maxx. I think Marshall was TJ Maxx, and I was like, Brittany would love this candle. I was gonna buy it for my crib. I'm like, my crib is not purple. I have to put it in my bathroom.
That's purple.
It was only one. So I was like, at that store at the time, I was like, let me get this from a friend. But we are like kind of think
even
like
for your
that.
birthday, when I got you the candles with the crystals in them, I was like,
first of all, I just was burning the lime and coconut before I got here. I still only have one. One I burned down to the core, y'all. It was ghetto.
It was like when I saw them, I was like, this is Dominique. Even like what the crystals that I sent her, like the crystals that were in them, what they meant, like those were still like very you. But even the fact that I was like, this is just her, it aligns with who she is.
You thought of it. I could tell that
I was like, this is so perfect. But my point is that
and she bought a bottle too.
I did. I don't know. I just love to love on people. And that's the thing, is that I'm not going to allow a past situation for someone that does not have a place in today to affect how I'm going to treat my friends and my family moving forward.
I love that.
And that's just what it is. And here's the thing. Maybe I'm doing it. Maybe he's the wrong person too. But I'm not going to.
It's not going to shade who you are.
No.
It's not going to like what it will do is just let you know, because you've developed the boundaries.
I've had my discernment is so much more. It's like nothing about there. I don't feel like I'm making a bad decision. It's not like, oh, I'm sending him. I'm nervous for him to get it because it's just a gift and you want people to feel good. And it's like, I'm nervous for him to get it in the sense of like, okay, I hope he likes it. But I'm not nervous in the sense of like, oh my God, is he going to return the gift? I didn't give him the gift for him to send one back.
And you didn't spend money for it to be like, you got to spend. And that's the thing. Guys, you need to hear this, because I have sending a guy money story. And I sent it and I kind of sensed that it was kind of a difference.
I think
setting.
you told me about this. It was earlier this year.
Yeah, but he never returned the money. Never called me back.
Uh-huh.
It was like $200. I mean, I could bust a bitch.
Yeah, $200 isn't really
right.
We spend like $150 going out to like whatever.
That's a dinner between like that's a dinner per person, right?
No,
but
it is per person.
I'm not.
We're not flexing, but we're just simply saying that
at
the end of the day, like it's not this significant lump sum of money that like you're gonna be able to pay your bills.
But what I brought it up to say that it was a genuine like, oh, you needed
it was
this?
like I'm looking out for you
because I would look out. Like if my friends would ask me, like if my my siblings, I told you, you met my brother. I have another brother. I have 4 sisters. Like we're both very giving. If we can do it, like my birthday, I was locked out of my apartment. She's calling my other best friend. Hemsa's calling. Hemsa's like, I give the locksmith this amount of money. I was crying.
We got it together, though.
Right. Got me together. But you know what I'm saying? Like, it's like, a different vibe.
And it's like, you know that
people are not used to that. And
they're not.
When we come with our energy and it's genuine, they start to think it's crazy. And those are the type of people that scare me because I didn't think you were crazy when I met you.
No, because it's like the reason why, or
you lock in with
it's either you are like, oh, this is good energy. I want to vibe with this energy. I want to match this energy. Or either I want to drain this energy. Which one are you going to be?
Right, and we can discern that. That's the discernment we have.
And so I feel like, this was just a kind gesture. He did something that I think is amazing. He did something that is like just amazing, period. Not even just that I think is amazing. It's truly like a big step that he took. And so I just wanted to give him, and it was nothing crazy. It was thoughtful. Stop, bitch, because you're over there smiling.
I want to see it again. You like, that's so crazy because I'm like, I be like on my journalist shit because I can feel the vibe that you're happy. So I'm smiling too.
Bitch, I'm happy. Like, I'm all right. Like, it's not nothing serious.
To be continued, guys. We will be here on the next episode.
He better not listen to this shit. Anyways, but it's just something that I
like how honest you are too. Like, I wouldn't have brought that shit up. I would have waited for this man.
I mean, I would have been worst case scenario, I give them enough, but they don't get everything. So they don't know. They didn't know about
I don't know how to do that.
I will say, I actually talked to him about this week because him and I were talking about my podcast because he actually listens. I think that's really like, before we were ever on this level, he was listening. And so, stop, bitch. Stop. You're being weird. Okay. So I told him, I said, I struggle a little bit. And he said, well, he's like, your podcast is called Be Unfiltered, and like you're B, like, and unfiltered. I
like him.
He was like, he's like, so. Bitch, you playing my bitch?
Cause I'm like, wait, I like him. Cause we should be.
Stop. That's enough. Yes.
Why we don't go?
We will. We're gonna go. We're going soon. We can go soon, like real soon.
Why? But you going for the birthday? Cause this year.
No. We're going.
We gotta talk it up.
We're going.
Be back. Commercial break. I just realized. You saw how I just slid that in because I realized.
I'm with a nigga. Oh my god, this is so hot. Anyway,
I mean, people be with niggas.
Anyways, so
put it out there because follow the stance. We like to travel.
We love to travel, so I can be wherever and be by myself,
people.
Or I can be with a nigga. I don't know.
Watch this because you may want it flued out. Y'all heard that? City girls with the baby. Yeah. Oh, Lil Baby. Sorry.
Yes.
Baby and Lil Baby.
Lil Babies.
I like Lil Baby too.
Yes.
All the baby. I'm trying to be a baby.
Right.
Trying to be somebody's baby. So
right.
Like, what?
So the moral is
right.
Like he was saying, like, you're able to be so open. And I said, it's so funny. I said, one of my God-given talents is that I have the ability to make people feel like they're so in to everything I have going on. I said, but it's like, you
still have that.
Think about a mountain. It's like what I share is the very peak that you see, and then there's so much below it. It's like or an iceberg, how they show the iceberg where you'll see the part that's above the water, but there's all that part.
There's levels to this shit.
It is, and it's like so people think like, oh my God, Brittany shares so much of her life on social media. No, the fuck I don't. Like, y'all just see like.
But that's what I was just saying. That's the conversation we were having earlier. The metaverse.
Yeah.
The metaverse is what everybody wants people to see through their own perception of self.
Right.
And when you realize that, you realize like we were talking, like people, oh, you look like this kind of girl. Oh, you look like you're this type of person. Or people are like, and as a journalist, and you too, like you're not a journalist, but you're an inquisitor. You're like
I like to get to know people. Yeah.
Right. What do you think when you see me? Well, we've had this conversation before, like just for outward being outside as like a attest. And you see people that will literally go by judgment, no energy, no anything. So it's like whatever you put out there, you also have to be able to back it up with who you are to make a real connection.
When you say grounding, that's the part where grounding is important. Is that like you can put out there what you want, and I don't believe in putting out a false narrative. I think I just put out what I want people to know, and then there's parts of me that I just want to keep private and that I don't need everyone to know, and that I share with my friends and with my loved ones. Or friends that I can trust. You know what I'm saying?
But everybody's privacy is different. Like you may say something like,
right, like I can go on the internet and talk about a failed date where there's
I would say
you would never do that. I would go on there and be like, this date was trash, she was blah blah blah.
Because I don't know how to air it out. Like I'm too like I don't know how to be like, yo, this without going in. You know what I'm saying?
I just told them a story about a bad day. I don't even know if you saw it.
No, I saw. Yeah, I said, who was this? She was like, girl, I don't even want to talk about it. I said, oh my God, friend, I ain't know it was this crazy
and
out
it's wild
in these streets.
But it's like, here's the thing is that like, but when I care about you and when we've gotten to a certain level, I am loyal to a fault. There are people that I have fallen out with recently that I would never even put out there like that. Like, but when it's somebody that's like in passing, like fuck you niggas.
See,
like,
you're good at that. I actually have been done wrong. Like, not even done wrong. It is essentially done wrong, but I don't want to say done wrong with the emphasis
like
of
used
I've been addicted. No, I have been used. Okay. I can lie. Because when you're vulnerable, you have the potential to get used, right? That's part of life. But I would say done wrong, but not in the sense of done wrong where I'm a vindictive person to get back. But I was talking to one of my good friends who has known me since like 17. She's like a sister. I know her family, everything. And we were just talking about, she was like, yo, Damo, it's time to air people. Like you don't talk. Like after shit, I won't even know for years, like such and such did this. And, or this word exchange, you'll let people say whatever they want about you and you just be you. And I said, because character speaks. People that like that vibrate with good energy.
I was gonna say, the people that matter to me know that character and like that, all that food, fly, you did, she did, she ain't this, she ain't that. All that shit, people who I want in my life can read through all of that shit. Yeah. And they're gonna know that. Here's the thing. I am a good fucking person. Am I flawed? Absolutely. Am I a little crazy?
We're all human.
Definitely. But at my core, everything, and I mean everything I do comes from love. So at the end of the day, you cannot say that you were in my life and you didn't feel some level of love. It's going to differ to
Come on, Maya Angelou. How you make people feel? How you make people feel?
But truly, it's going to differ. Like you might feel it on a higher or lower level depending on how close you are to me. But one thing you're going to be able to say is that like, Brittany comes with love. She enters a room with love. She enters like any space she does. Anything she does comes from a place of love. And so for
the passion is not a hateful. The passion is not, I'm a hater. The passion is more like love. But you want to know something? From even what you're saying and what I've learned, and this is a recent learning. Like I love just learning. We both are like that. Is that what your definition of love and coming from love may be different from other people. And it's because we're so literal, I'm looking at it what love is. Like the English language, how you use love, you're looking at it English times law, like when right? And then
that's why I have to always elaborate. Because when I say that to a man and I've just met him and he's like telling me, I'm trying to get to know you, and I'm like, oh, everything I do comes from love. And it's like, hold on, I'm not saying I'm in love with you or that I even want to even be in love.
People don't even get that there's an in love and there's I have love. Those are two different things.
I'm probably there's a lot of people I'm gonna love for a really long time, but I'm never gonna fuck with you again. I got love.
I love people.
Exactly, but it's like
your journey's not my journey.
Exactly, and you're gonna stay the fuck over there. It's like I can have love for you, but you got to go over there and you got to be a clown and a fuckboy and whoever or a bad person by your fucking self. Like I can't do that. But when I say from love, I mean like from the heart, not from like romanticism. Like it comes from my heart. So if
it's genuine, it's pure.
It is, and even like a small thing where like I was talking to my therapist the other day. And she was talking about like, how much healing I've done since my breakup and just how far I've come. And she's like, well, what do you think?
Come on, sis,
what things do you think is lingering with that relationship? And I said, there's two things. And one of them I'll talk to you about later. But the other one, I said, there's two things that are lingering from that. And she's like, what are they? One of them is that like me and his goddaughter have a real relationship. I've been around since she was like about 2 years old. She's right there in that picture. Like, that's her.
You want to know what's so funny and how aligned Brittany and I, while we were talking, I don't know, you will see on the tape when you watch it back, I looked up twice. I was like,
yeah,
so that's
my ex-boyfriend's
like
family. Yeah, that's my ex-boyfriend's goddaughter. And so, but that's my goddaughter. There's nothing about, you cannot tell me that she's not. And so my therapist's like, oh, you got to let that relationship go. And I'm like, me continuing that relationship with her does not mean I'm holding on to him at all, because I love her and everything I do for her comes from love.
Yeah, I get that, but I also get with your relationship, because you're such a loving person that because you'll also love how you met her and it relates to him.
That's the thing. Here's the thing. I knew her dad before I knew him. Her dad and my ex-boyfriend are best friends, but I knew her dad for like.
So this is a separate relationship, has to do
somewhat separate. Like, we were associates. We didn't become friends until I met her, like my ex.
But him
and I we do not talk about my ex. We talk about like it's nothing like that. And it's
I think that's healthy, because that's a
very
child.
Healthy.
Like,
she's very much
if people that I didn't talk to, if I know their kids still love me and still ask about them, I would fuck with their kids.
And that's what I'm saying. And it's like,
give me their cell phone number.
Right. It's like, and that's the thing, is that her dad doesn't bring him up. Her dad doesn't pry into my relationship status or lack thereof. We don't talk about none of that. It's like but it was funny because of the first like 6 months, she did not understand. She was like, why don't you live with him no more? And she was like, well, why doesn't he move to Texas? And I'm like, I got to the point I was like, girl, ask your godfather. Like, but she's a loving soul.
How old is she?
Ken will be 6 in December. So she's 5 right now.
See, she been with her since 2. Brittany
so like it really is.
This is a for-lifer. An Aquarius will be like, baby.
And me and her father had a conversation.
But the father is not your ex.
No,
so it's different.
No. And so me and her father had a conversation where I said, hey, if this is causing any sort of wedge between you and your best friend, please. I can walk away.
I can see you.
And he told me, he was like, Brittany, I'm separating this. Like, this is totally different. Like, you're showing up for Ken. Yes. Okay.
This is an ad right here.
But it's giving sponsorship. But like, it's things like that. So when I say that everything I do comes from love, I love her. Like, she's a part of like my goddaughter that is actually my goddaughter from Ivy.
You got a picture on your
Ivy's daughter is like my goddaughter too, and I hold them on the same level. And so like I do for Milan from love, just like I do for Ken from love, because it's like that's just I exist in love. It's not I exist in a space of like, ooh, let me try to.
And you're not like Ken, your mom, or I'm trying to get back in this relationship.
No.
But I feel like your therapist, and what I took from it, and I'm not in the therapy session. Is that you're so loving that you need to pull back on everything, get some boundaries, and then start to form.
So that's what I have done, is that like I've maintained the relationship and friendship with Kennedy, but I've also been able to say like you and me and your godfather are completely cut off.
Right.
So it's not,
you have to now.
And then now
it's not ask your godfather.
Right. She doesn't bring him up anymore. It's like now she fully understands that these are two separate people.
Right.
Like they're living different lives. And so now it's very,
that's
very healthy. Yeah. It's very healthy now. Her dad. It is. And so it's like, that's what I'm saying. Like, she's going to be in my life, just like my goddaughter that's been my goddaughter. So in my mind, when I say I have goddaughters, I'm speaking of her too, because in my mind, she just is. And so, I don't know. Maybe one day we'll show up at her graduation and we'll see each other. I'll have babies and a whole husband. Babies,
right? Because I want plural. I want 5 kids. So.
For what?
And I'm mad old.
Why? You're not mad old. Don't say that. We're not putting that.
I mean, even if I was like 70, I would still want 5 kids.
But I'm saying,
like, I'm
not aware. The age is not the concern.
Well, you want to know something? For me, age is not really. I told you I'm not good with numbers. Time to me is fluid. Like, age is fluid. Like, when it comes to dating somebody, now, I wouldn't say, date a 16-year-old, date this. I would say pubescence mindset is also a thing, right? Yes. I'm not about that and thinking like, it's okay to date.
Date like a child.
Because you know what? I feel like because people don't understand the English language like me, that's why I'm doing a lot of explaining around the context of what I'm trying to say. You sound like
Kevin Gates on Carisha's episode yesterday.
Well, we're Aquarians.
Yeah. It was very
people
much
can
like
take
that.
A lot
he was like,
I
use this word to talk to the general public, but this is not the word that I would use to describe it in general. And I
respect that. I like that.
Yeah.
That's why I said I got Virgo from the clips, just the emotional aspect for a woman, but I forgot how Aquarius, like we are we're pleasers. I'm a huge people pleaser in a sense that when I fuck with you, like a lot of, I think even me, like when we talk about trauma and like therapy and stuff, like a lot of my things were like trying to please my parents, and it's not like they wanted to be pleased. It was just like me. This is my Aquarian goal. Like once I tapped into what makes me happy, I don't give a fuck. I always didn't give a fuck, but I gave a fuck. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
like,
no, I can relate to that. It's like, people. Yeah, I don't care. Like I'm good, but also I want people to be proud of me. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and then when I got into, I think it was like, I'm gonna be honest. Like she got me sipping, y'all.
Pass me the bottle,
right? Because I done kept it in the cubby over here, y'all. We may have to DoorDash some more.
I got another bottle.
This is why I love, like, we're like here. We've been like that.
We've been like that since the moment we met.
I ain't even gonna hold you.
Yes.
So, I think with my parents, like for me, it was like, oh, I want my parents to be so involved and know what I do. But I realized, like, I have two dads, but like my biological father, I think he was in my life, but like he don't know me day to day. My stepdad was there day to day, but West Indian and was kind of like girls who girls, guys who guys. So it was kind of like I got into it. I was working. I when I used to work from home, I was working from this company that just like, you see how bubbly I am. It was just tearing me down, y'all. It was toxic. I felt like I was a slave to Slack. And my dad came in a room just to ask me something, and I feel, because my dad is sweet. Like I, to this day, like still it hurts me in my gut that I even talk to him like this. Like
I can tell, I can see it. Like
you can feel it. Because I'm tensing up, like like I was like, you don't even know what I do. You don't even know how hard I work, and that is also true. Like I'm the first, like I own a business in my family, like that's sustainable. Like I think my grandma, if she was here, I probably would have never, like, I don't even know if she was here at that time, or she may have been sick. That's probably what added to it. I was home. My grandma was hospitalized. Now I think about it. You talk about blocking out memories, right? Because I totally blocked that out. That was my foot, y'all. Nothing crazy. I got on these heavy ass Balenciagas.
You do.
So my dad was like, "Oh, something." He opened my room door. It was closed. When my room is closed, I'm working. It's in the early stages. It's before I launched Apartment 1A. I was working.
Which is the next topic. We're gonna get there.
It was running me down. And my dad burst in. I was like, "I'm working. You don't even know what I do. You don't even know." And he doesn't know how to articulate it, but when my dad speaks to me, he says, like, my daughter, she owns a company. She was a journalist. Like, he knows the highlights. Like, she interviewed this person. She was at Super Bowl. Like, he's not in this field. My dad is is an electrical engineer. Like, this is not his. And I get it, because I don't know the number. He knows math like this. Like, you had a blueprint, right? Right. You know the vibes. So I'm like, what? And I think about it, and I was just like, damn, like, my dad didn't know what I do, but like they know of it, so they value it, and there's not that sense to like please them, like, oh, they're happy because I finally clicked.
Funny you should say that, because oh my God, this is probably I'm probably being so transparent, girl. It's that damn
I know it's Brittany's energy. I want to turn this video off so we can chit chat.
Me too. I'm so comfortable in this, but I had this conversation with my brother and with my cousin, and my brother and I, like, we're not like the close, like I talk to him every day, but I could talk to him about anything in this whole world. And my brother, like, before anyone else knew I was going through divorce, before anyone else knows anything, my brother knows it. And not because, it's like he's just my person that's just there no matter what, and I love him very dearly. And we don't get into intricacies of each other's relationships, because it's like, you do you, as long as you're not being hurt, I'm not being hurt, we'll be okay. He was saying to me, he was jokingly said to me, he's like, yeah, Mom, I came to Mom's job, and I've never been to my mom's job before. And he goes, I came to Mom's job, and they didn't even know she had a son, because all she does is talk about you. And I was like, that's a fucking lie.
But you're thinking, like,
but
at
here's
the same
the thing,
time,
my mom has never in 35 years told me that she's proud of me. Never. And it doesn't bother me, right?
I feel like, is this a Black thing where they go and brag? But it's like,
so that's the thing. Chris was like, Mom talks about you nonstop behind, like, my daughter is this lawyer and she's this and she's amazing, she has a wedding, and I'm like, mom be like real regular on the phone, be like, what are you doing? Like, the only time my mom has, and I want to be clear, like, because my mom does listen to this on and off, because I want to be very clear, I don't think my mom doesn't love me or that she's not proud of me. She just has not verbalized that to me.
The way that she says it and shows it, but the way literal.
The only time I've ever heard her say flat out, I'm proud of you, or to show true happiness for me, was when I got married. And it was very hurtful.
I was thinking about that.
It was very hurtful because then
girl,
divorce.
This is how I know we related.
Yeah, because then divorce became like, I gotta keep it in this pocket. Like, I can't let nobody know. I can't. And I dealt with it so by myself with a very small, and I mean by small, like 4 people. It was like my friend Dar, Ivy, my brother's Chris, and my cousin Tiffany. Those were the 4 people.
I remember you told me.
I dealt with it with them.
I didn't know her then.
Yeah, and then like I opened up to like the rest of the world. But like, I'm like, the only time my mom has ever shown that she's proud of me is in this moment. And so like now I have to go and ruin that one time that she's, let me know she's like proud. And so my cousin Tiffany, she was like, Brittany, your mom is so proud of you. She was like, she talks about it all the time. And I'm like, where do y'all be at? Because that's not the energy that I get. And so but I so badly want to make her proud. And I think I spent so much of the last 35 years, and it's not until the last few years that I've tapped into what I'm about to say, but I spent so much of the 35 years, like, I want mom to be proud, I want my grandma to be proud. Here's the thing. My grandma she could not tell you what I do for a job. She has no idea. Like, not because she doesn't care. It's just hard for her to understand.
But
and it's hard,
the shit out
right?
of you.
But she'll tell me, I'm so proud of you. And I'm like, you don't even know what you're proud of, but thank you, grandma. Like, I love it. And so it's so
crazy, the dynamic of the grandchildren
It is.
I don't know, like, I know in other cultures too, like people that like the nona, the nonis, the babas, like I see that, but I also just like that black grandma that's so
different.
like,
and it's like honestly, if you were to meet my grandmother, like, immediately you're her grandchild. And I say this on this podcast all the time, but my grandma is really one of the people that, like, her love, it just exudes, you know what I'm saying? It's like, it's just all encompassing. And so, it's like, I love that. And so
when your cousin told you that, you were
it was just like, wow, like, are you very, she was like, no, your mom's very proud of you. Like, she was just more like, are you serious? Your mom doesn't say that to you? Like, she had no idea. And we are like best friend cousins. Like, we're not like this, like, we're first cousins, but we're also like actual best friends. So she was like, I had no idea. My brother was like, your mom's, we joke, like, he's like, but no, you're really mom's favorite. And I'm like, no, you're mom's favorite because he's the baby.
Because you're thinking, me too.
Yeah, so I'm like, okay, you're the baby, Chris, so mom's more like whatever. But I will say that, like, it's interesting for you to say that because I know where you're coming from with that. It's like, your dad, at least that while he may not understand the details of it.
Well, now he was like, yeah, because you have your own company, building company. Like, he got the below, like, yeah. And I was just like, okay. And you this goes back to perception. Like, our parents are human too. He was working at the time when he was on the cusp of just retiring. Had his own personal stuff. Couldn't figure out what, like, girl, I'm not.
And I know that too. Like, my mom went through a period at work where it was like some ageism stuff going on, and she had been there for like 20-some years. Well, yeah, and they were treating her crazy. You could tell they were trying to push her out or whatever. So it's like I give her grace, but that's a real point to make. And this is so crazy because none of this was on our topics. Because I sent you a pre-production little list, and this is not it. But I love this so much more. I love this so much more.
I need to take like a bathroom break. So.
Okay, we'll take a bathroom break. Well, how about this? I'll say what I have to say, and then I don't remember what I was about to say. What the point I was about to say.
Damn.
That's okay. This is the perfect time for a bathroom break here.
No, you were saying your mom something because it was a good combo.
I don't remember.
I hate that I said bathroom break.
That's okay. I got you off guard. We're going to come back, and I want to go a little bit more into your business. And
let's get into both of our businesses because I'm telling her to hire me for her business.
She is.
Like,
I want to get more into Apartment 1A because I think that you have a service that will be beneficial to so many people that are in my audience. So
I appreciate that, but I feel like you talking about Apartment 1A is only gonna make me ask you questions about your brand. And it's gonna be like,
God, I don't know what my brand is. That's why I don't want to do this. All right, we're gonna pause, y'all. We'll be right back.
I'm asking them questions.
Okay, so we're back. More champagne.
Champagne bottle. For the campaign.
Yes. Okay, so now really quickly because we got outsides calling our names.
We do.
Real quick, I want to talk, not quickly, but I want to talk about your business, about your route to entrepreneurship and just how it is. I don't know a lot of women that are I don't personally know any woman that's a full-time entrepreneur. Not personally. I know of people. So to me,
we got to go in some circles.
Yeah. So yeah, for sure. But I'm so proud of you just to know somebody that like has taken complete control. Yes, complete control over their day to day, and you're like you're always so business focused, but you also know how to have a good time and to tap back in. It's like, or when we're out having a good time, you know how to network for your. It's like you're so good at it. So let's talk about Apartment 1A, how it started and what it is, and we'll build from there.
Apartment 1A is, first of all, the name comes from my apartment that I grew up in Harlem. It was 1A on the first floor. So Apartment 1A is where my like brand story, my origin story.
Okay, so when you say in Harlem, so this was your first apartment by yourself?
No, with my parents as a baby.
Like, coming home I didn't know. Oh, so this is like really home origin.
Origin, baby girl, like the birth of me.
I love
so it's the birth of me
and
the birth
your
of my
business.
Company.
Okay, I didn't realize that.
I don't know.
Okay.
It came to me like kind of like talking to God, actually. That's so crazy. It's not crazy. That's regular.
Those be the ones.
It's regular day to day for me because I'm always getting inspiration from my conversations with God and people of God and children of God. But so that started out of the birth of me actually like kind of transitioning from being a music journalist while living in LA to like writing for more entertainment kind of companies and like doing.
So what year did you officially get things kicked off?
Okay, 2019. Okay. So I moved to LA in 2015. Copy was doing entertainment journalism, copywriting for Beats by Dre.
So when you say copywriting, what does that mean?
Like I was the voice on their social media, ads.
And that's around the time that like Beats by Dre was like.
I mean, they were.
Was it before or after the Apple acquisition?
This was like right after.
That's big, bitch. That's major. I didn't know this. This is dope as fuck. Cause
I feel like it's like
I know it's like I get it. You're not a big. You don't need to brag. It's like you are who you are.
You know what? I feel like it was teams, and I feel like while I was there, like sometimes. I think at that time, the age that I was to articulate and to like have the discernment, and we talked about discernment earlier of like people that you could share and be your 100% self with. I was manipulated a lot or taken misunderstood when I was trying to bond with people. And I was just being my genuine, like real New York, like this is, they're treating people like I was working for actually a company that they outsourced. So it was like it was a PR company, and that's who I was working for as a copywriter. And it was for Beats. So we stood there, but it was an amazing experience as far as like, right. Like they had the Beats one run, and I wrote all the copy for that. It was like translated into like German and all right. It was when you think about it, it was crazy, but like being in it and like it was my first like pressure, like right that like it was like kind of crazy. Live up to this voice that we already created. So I was there for almost a year, I think, and then like I got introduced a lot of my positions. One of my good friends now, she lives in Houston, Jaleesa, her brother Booty introduced me to one of his friends that owned a tech startup. And they needed like marketing. They needed, because I couldn't articulate what I did, but I had like a voice. But you knew what you did. Yeah, like, I know what I'm good at. Yeah. It was like, I always think of it like of Scandal. Like it's kind of like how you like it's not like a PR thing, but it's like how you fix and pack it, spin it. Yeah. Right. And it's like I can get there at any moment of your business, you know what I mean? And like just jump in, like double dutch and like get you, you know? It could be we can marathon this or we can make it you want to jumpstart right away, or you want to take it like you know? So it was that, and then I was doing the marketing for their company. They went to cons. We did a whole campaign for that. They went to, they actually got acquired, started launching a product, and then they had some layoffs. And I was like, you know what? I've been doing this. And before that, I was like helping a startup that started out like in the Facebook arbitrage. If anybody remembers that. And it was kind of like this algorithm thing where you make, articles, clickbaiting, if you will. And we were writing headlines. I was editing articles, leading an editorial team, like 30 people, and they would hire them. And I didn't even know, like, some of the people, they would be like all over. I kind of got into the hiring process later, but that was a whole nother thing. I've dealt with like so much racism. I guess, I don't know, when you are a shining light and people are not always in that essence, sometimes things happen to you. As I'm remembering these previous like jobs and what led me to start my career, I'm so thankful, because it was a lot of battles that I never even spoke out. I never aired people out. I never, and granted I was in there, so I obviously had a role, but I think like just being an only Black woman, a lot of times
I can relate to that. Yeah.
Right. And my accent is I speak the same way. I
love that for you, feeling like you don't have to change who you are to be present in the room with anyone. Like you can show your true self.
I don't think it's in me to not.
I don't think it is either. And I love that about you. Like I admire that about you.
I appreciate that.
Even like I remember meeting you and I was like, so what do you do? And you're like, I have a company. And I was like, okay, but what do you do? And you're like, no. Like my company is like, and I was like, yes. So let's get back into that. Because I want to know more about like.
So I launched it after that last startup, and I felt like the thing I was doing was helping them build their brand. I was writing product narrative. I was introducing like what the company was, like changing the positioning, brand positioning, everything. And I was like, even the social media voice, I was in on like campaigns and how we even got to and I was like, you know what? Like I could do this for myself. So I was on a panel in California after that, women's panel to speak about like being in tech and everything. Okay. And like I just got laid off. So, yeah. I got laid off. So I'm like, I'm still at the panel. So I meet another woman who's in, the music industry. Like she knows it's like people, like women in the industry that's leading. And she's like, I have this, we connect, we're talking. She's like, I have a company I want to start. I have like 2 other people in my ear. Like I have companies I want to start. I need your help. I just immediately like, all right, I gotta, like, I'm starting a business.
So, how did you know how to price? Like, what was that like coming out the gate?
I think, how to price, I was like looking from the internet. Okay. And like,
so you did your research.
I think I also did my research based on the salaries I was making and how.
So you're like, this is how much I need
because I was already doing it corporately, like in a
this
tech
is what
space.
I need to like maintain my lifestyle.
But also, I was respectful of like I want to help Black women and like people that like not only Black women, but that was my network. So that was my reach right at that time. But I mean, like people who are like dedicated to building a family, like they wanted to build a business because I've seen it possible. I worked at 3 startups with millionaires. At $100 million acquisition, I'm on these teams leading this narrative to get that right. And I'm like, yo, I can do this. All right, it's about if it's about paying my rent, yeah, but how I want to build with people who are passionate. So not only that, I sacrifice like my family. Shout out. Like we talked about siblings, family. Like my family was helpful my time in LA. Like my parents helped me pay my rent. My uncle sent me a check for like a couple racks. Like, to sustain,
just to help you keep through, like,
and like to also maintain my integrity. You know what I'm saying? Like I really believed in her company. Long story short, she launched her business while I was launching mine. I launched mine. I helped her launch hers. She's now continuing business. Shout out to Live Out Loud, Candace. We're doing more like things with her company now. It's grown. It's now a nonprofit.
So what type of company is it?
Her company is a live into music and entertainment touring agency, like booking agency, but also a nonprofit that teaches young adults about it and getting them into the industry and providing them with job opportunities, mentorship, apprenticeship, internship.
Awesome. So they can learn the craft and like that very specialized skill.
So my company, Apartment 1A, which helps to build brands, your
talk
narrative.
About exactly what you do today.
So I told you about the end result.
Right.
So my company is basically people really talk to me for, I would say, my intellectual property and just my energy and the way I connect with people and just help them kind of like understand what their business idea is, what their product is, their services, and how to communicate it with the audience that they think they have, the audience that they have potential to get, and the audience that they currently have. Mm-hmm. So it's like that past, present, future thing. Like, okay, remember the show? This is a sidebar, but it makes sense. Remember the show with Regina King that was on FX?
Yeah,
and No. She was a superhero. Dr. Manhattan was one of...
Not really. I don't remember it.
We got to look up the title. I'm so bad with names.
Go ahead. Keep telling the story.
Okay.
Look it up.
Thank you. So
you said it was on FX?
FX. Okay. She was a superhero. So Dr. Manhattan.
Okay.
His super capabilities, that was her husband. He was capable of telling the past, present, and future, or living in the past, present, and future at the same time. Mm-hmm. And I feel like that's what, like, you have to bring to the table. Okay, when so you're building a company.
Thinking in what you've already done, where you're at now, and where you want to go. Yeah, Watchmen.
Yes, but I love Marvel and I love comics and shit. So
yeah, I watched a little bit of Watchmen.
I'm mad you guys took it off the air.
Yeah, because it was too real. It was very
so
real.
Dope.
It was very real.
So dope.
The messaging, while not exactly direct, was also indirect to how Black people are treated in America. And that's whole
right. We know.
Yes,
we okay.
That's one of the topics.
Right.
Okay, so your brain. So here.
So I'm building your brand, your idea. Like, you can have a company and say, hey, I have this idea to be a massage therapist. I would help you think about, like, what does that mean? Like, deep in your soul, like, why are you a massage therapist, and like how to communicate that. What does that mean for your color, your look, your feel, how your brand walks, with the type of post, what time you post, like all of those details.
My God, this is so amazing. Like, I am how so your impressed. Website looks. I'm so impressed by
but that all comes from journalism, from knowing people.
This is the part of owning a business that I hate. You know, I was talking to my friend earlier this week, and he's a business owner, and I was like, gosh, if I could just create and not worry about that, it would be so much better. And he's like, well, you can, but there's cost associated with that, right? And I'm like, I have to get to the point
cost and time, cost and money,
right? And I'm like, I have to get to the point where I feel like it's worth investing the money, and it's hard, right? Because you're looking at it like, well, I can do this myself. Yes, there are certain things I could do myself to further my business, but there are things that someone who specializes in it that could further it much more. So while the investment may be $5,000-$10,000, is that $10,000 going to make me $50,000 in the future? And it's like, that's the gamble, right? It's like trusting.
I feel like it's not necessarily a gamble, because people do this with their lives daily, right? Time. Like, you send your kids to school, you don't know what's going to happen there, but
you accept the job offer, and you don't know
right if you're going to get laid off. I think that more people have to get trained in the self-investment. Like, part of self-care is investing in your business, and not like, I feel like with my role and what I play, like my company, we offer design services. We offer project package design, website design, website development. Mm-hmm. But, like my background is mainly in strategy. So, I'm partnering with different designers. I have different designers that I work with.
So somebody can come to you, a business can come to you and say, hey, I'm starting from the literal bottom, and you can help them create a whole entire strategy on what their brand looks like, from logo to text and fonts and colors. And
well, first, before you even get to logo, there's brand strategy. Like, designers need to kind of know, like, have a dossier about like what even is the ideology
and it's
behind
funny
your
you should
brand.
say that,
and I helped to create that.
A branding, like an actual logo branding, like package from a graphic designer, and they gave me this questionnaire, and I was like, this is so hard. And they're like, I literally
that's a great designer
without you. And she was like, okay, well, when you think about your business, like, what are the colors? How do you want people to feel? I'm like, girl, I don't know. I want them to book a wedding. I don't know. And so now I understand a lot more about what you do. So you're the person that helps them figure out what that looks like, so that they can even articulate it.
And then we also will design it.
So you can just come and get everything in house.
Everything is done in house, like from your business plan ideation to like, hey, I have this event that I'm trying to, or I just got this grant for this initiative. What does it look like?
We help so many people I'm thinking about connecting you with right now.
We ideate that. We help you put it into words. We also illustrate it, whether that's in a package of, we create content for you, like not for you, but with you. Everything is like, as far as branding, especially from my essence, is like when you're building something that's from someone's core, and that's my clientele, people that are doing things that are from their core, not just like, yo, I came up with a t-shirt, I got this, I want to stamp it on a Fruit of the Loom. Okay, but you don't want to start like thinking about your own cotton, like what's in the fabric, the weaving, the ink. Like I'm more into that because I'm a deep person. Yeah, I've been on here for like an hour.
You are deep. I will say you are deep.
So my connections to clients are like people that are like this is what they breathe, because this is what I'm going to offer you. So it has to be
so
that reciprocity,
to be open to
right?
Like, receiving that.
You're right. You have to be open to receiving it and pouring that back into your brain, because that's how I feed. Because I'm as hype as you are.
Yeah,
I can't be.
And I love that about you. Like you really, your energy is always infectious, even on the friend level. You know what I'm saying? It's like if you're having a good day. It's the way you text sometimes. Like, hey, friend.
Oh, my friend said that
no,
today.
It's true. It's like I could be having like an okay day, but you're like, hey, girl, like I'm about to do this, and this. And I'm like, Dominique is having a good ass fucking day. Oh, shit, I need to go out and have a good day, too. And it really is. And you don't even, you're not putting it on us, right? You're not saying, oh, you need to have a good day. It's like you're just being yourself. And your energy is so infectious that it comes across in a text message.
Oh, I love
I'll be
that.
like, Dominique, wow, like she's
that's
right.
That's good to know, because I gotta watch out for what I say more.
But you've never made me feel bad. I will say, I know what you're saying, because you have to be careful with that gift. But you've never made me personally feel bad. But it is very interesting, because the fact that you're able to tap into that in a business as well is very important.
Because my business is personal. I have to deal with people on a day to day. If I'm like, short or curt, like I'm the person that's the face of it, even though I'm like kind of behind the scenes. I live behind apartment 1A, but like, I just feel like this business and why I transitioned and why I feel like journalists make for the best marketers, because we know what we talk to people. We know the heartbeat of people. Like I know, like if someone tells me their audience is at 14 to this, like I am gonna do the research.
Like how I
also, I'm the oldest of 7. I have a 13-year-old sister. Like she's a Fortnite expert, right?
Like that's a good point.
Like God has put me in a position like it's just like when people are like, you get on this job and they're like, how much experience? Is like my life experience. Like you don't know I was built to do this.
I love that for you.
Like I was built like
act like that, and it's not act like that. You do speak like that.
It's like an artist. Like I was built to be on this stage.
You literally speak with so much confidence about so many things, and I'm like, God, like she really be out here like. Yeah. So, what was one of my favorite memories of you was when we went to the beer garden with Nicole.
Oh my gosh, we had so much fun.
That was a good time.
Right.
And there was this white guy who had his whole face plastic surgery down. It was like, y'all, it was stuck. He had to be in his 60s, maybe approaching 70s. Yeah, but it was giving very much chiseled jawbone, nose.
It was giving Hollywood.
It was
Beverly Hills.
Yeah, it was like how John Travolta redid his face.
I can't move it.
It wasn't.
It was giving John Travolta. I just said I can't.
It was stuck. He couldn't even smile at us, but we knew he was smiling.
Right.
And it was funny because Nicole peeped him out, right? And then she's like, you should go talk to him. He seems interesting. And you went over there, you were talking to him. And it's like, just the way you're able to sell yourself so quickly. I was like, damn. It was like 3 minutes and you were like, let me get your social media. Oh, what do you do? I'm going to follow you. I'm going to do this. And I was like.
But it didn't.
It wasn't like in a bad way. It was not a forced way. It was
no, but I'm saying it didn't lead to anything.
It didn't, but it's just the ability to connect with someone like that. Like, because you never know when it will. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like, let's say that 5 years from now, he was a commentator, a soccer commentator.
Yeah.
But let's say that sometime down the road, he decides he wants to open a business, and for whatever reason, just that conversation with you sticks in his brain. You just never know. And I love that you were just able to lead with so much confidence of like, hi, I'm Dominique. This is what I do. Let's connect on social media. Like you were very like strategic about all of it. And I was like, that's dope. It's like for me, talking about
I didn't even remember it that way.
I do. I remember it that way. It was like, and I was like, dang, I was like, she's just so like, yeah. And you were like, I'm gonna follow you, but you're gonna follow me back. And I said, yes, like you better, because you were like,
I
it was
even
very,
tell
like
my nail technicians like, yo, tag me. You're using my likeness.
Yeah.
I mean,
and that's the part about you that I love. I never think about that.
Well, you do, because you think of it from if I studied law, because I took journalism and law, like you need to, if it's on a public street, fine. But like if we're in the privacy of a private building, and especially if you know the state law, technically you have to
look
prove.
at it that way. It's like
Girl,
but you're right. It's like
when you're
your likeness, and then even when I
wanted to be on CNN, I wanted to be this type of journalist when I first left grad school. And
so
it's like
you were very
serious. I appreciate how sheltered I had to be. They were like, watch what you post online, watch what videos, watch what you're doing here. And I started to think with that mindset. Granted, like I'm still me. But even still,
the stuff that me and you will share amongst ourselves is not the same things we will put out.
No.
And it's not that it's anything crazy. It's just that we realize that, okay, all of us are our own personal brand. But specifically when you have your own business, you are your own personal brand. Yeah. Like your image matters because people are buying you. And not in the sense of like prostitution, but they're buying you and your brand and how you... But no, seriously, it's like when I think about it, it's like when I show up as a wedding planner, it's like they're purchasing my personality, my energy. Like I could be having the shittiest of shitty days, even this week. And I'm gonna show up on a wedding planning Zoom, like, hey guys, like, oh, okay, we have less than 60 days to your wedding, like let's blah blah, because they know they're gonna get the energy from me every time. I'm gonna click that Zoom.
That's your
like,
brand.
Shit is fucking,
that's your brand.
But it is, and my brand is like, and even like the honesty.
People hire you because they like your energy.
They would, and I know, and
business.
It's like I can't even articulate. So I don't want to get too deep with this, because I do want us to go and have a good time tonight. But I say, like, when I say that, I don't know how to articulate this other than this. God does not play about me. And I mean, it's like, I know we all like to post things
about me either,
and that's what I'm saying. It's certain people that you know that he loves us all, but it's certain people he places favor on, and there's nothing you can do about it. You can't shy away from it.
I don't think he doesn't place favor on everybody. I think that everybody doesn't embrace a favor that he pays on you and doesn't,
or they don't realize what the favor is.
The reciprocity. God also is like when you're the highest of the high, you got to be known that you're highest of the high. Can't keep giving you everything and you don't come praise me, baby.
That's true.
Like, come on.
If y'all hear noise in the background, my patio door is open.
Lit. Oh,
so,
yeah,
and they're very lit on the, it's okay. They're very lit on the rooftop. Outside, it's okay. Yeah. It's okay. They're on the rooftop. But I say that I agree with you. Is that there are things that God has done in my life and places that I've gone and rooms that my name has been in that I'm like, how, why, and I don't, and not why in a way of like negativity, but like, God, why do you think I'm deserving of this? And I'm appreciative, but it's like when I think about my business, it's like I know that there's so much that I've gotten business wise just by being a nice person and being an approachable person and having my energy and just being like, even if you're faking it, like, oh my gosh, like I can make everyone.
I don't feel like you're faking it because
I'm not faking it.
You like making people feel good. So it's not
faking
it.
Makes me
even
feel
though
so
you
good.
feel bad, it's like, why would I put this on somebody? Yeah.
So it's like for me, it's like every time I go to, I'm a little stressed right now with weddings because I have 2 back to back and they're a little crazy. But like my clients,
busy,
not as booked and busy as I want to be, but I'm good. But they
inshallah.
Yes, ma'am. Speak that over me. They don't even know that I have other clients because they would think they are my only client. They were like, Brittany doesn't have anything else going on because that is
y'all heard of the Britney experience? Because I know y'all heard of the Mercedes. This is the Britney experience.
It's an experience. And so like I take pride in that, and it's like it's hard to do both because you have a shitty day at your full-time job, right? And then you have to go shut off that laptop and turn on your personal laptop and go and have a Zoom meeting with this person. So it's a fine balance, but it's like I was talking this week about like my purpose and like I feel my truest self in 2 instances that I know right now. One of them is I hate to say this, but they've heard me say it, but you've never heard me say this. I feel my best self being a wife. I love to take care of a man.
Oh, this is not shocking to me. Go ahead.
And so I feel my best self in that moment. And then otherwise, I really do enjoy event planning. But I think that what happens with the event planning is that I get a little distracted because my full-time job drains me, and then I'm drained overall. So it's like I have to find a way to transition.
This is what you call ghetto. Because this is what I'm like.
So my therapist is always trying to tell me to be a full-time entrepreneur. And I'm just,
when you talk about happiness and you talk about money buying happiness and you talk about the ecosystem of the pull, the twist and turn, and you talk about liberal and you talk about free, you're in a place where you've made, you can make money. You're a fucking lawyer.
That's the one, but not even that, Dominique.
That's why you need to just do your thing.
In my life, I've never been afraid to spend money because it's never not come back to me.
Exactly. So why hasn't she just
believe
done
in my soul.
her thing? With that said, she's actually, I didn't even get to finish, and I'm so happy that she said it for me. With that said, you should just be going into I ain't got no worries, but
I have worries, bitch.
I mean, I do. I mean, I pay so much.
And let's talk about that. Let's talk about that's the part I want to get into. So let's talk about what are some of the more, I know you're not backing down to a challenge, but what are some of the more challenging sides of being a full-time entrepreneur?
Oh, everything's challenging.
Okay, so let's talk about some more of that.
Everything's challenging, but so much given, much is required.
Absolutely.
I mean, I like challenges, so
okay.
I'm not that type of person. But I feel like, I pay my own health insurance, and because I'm not big enough to be like an S Corp now, out of pocket, I pay almost $500 a month.
That's crazy. You see it's a little net in here?
I do.
Sorry, y'all. It's a little fruit flying. It's just bothering us. But anyways.
It did bother me, and then I was like, shit, I'm on camera.
I know. I said the same thing, and I'm trying
I don't kill bugs in real life anyway.
I do. So. In real life, I kill everybody.
Nah, I like to take them out, outside. But I had your screen door open. That's why I opened that for 2 seconds, and I was like, yes. It came from. I said I don't want to know.
It's giving death when I catch you. But, okay, so health insurance. So are you an LLC?
I'm an LLC. Okay. Sole proprietor.
You're not a sole proprietorship because you're LLC. So you're protected.
Lawyer.
No, I'm just saying you're protected from personal liability. So should you ever be sued, you shouldn't, but I'm just saying you're protected from personal liability. Your company would be liable. So that's a protection that you have there. How do you handle insurance? Not insurance, taxes. Are you quarterly?
I have an accountant.
Okay.
We meet a lot. Okay. He also sees quarterly. I save for quarterly. I'm not a person that over spends. I grew up in a household. My dad's West Indian. My mom is American. Mm-hmm. She and my father is also American. I have 2 dads. Mm-hmm. Lucky me, right?
Yes.
And all the men. But I feel like I kind of never was a person. I didn't know when income tax season was coming. Mm-hmm. My parents just they told us about sushis. Yeah. We also saved. We had jar. They told us about savings.
Okay.
More. So I feel like I don't rely on I know kind of my balance of what I'm making. Mm-hmm. But I also know that I read a lot about government taxes, state taxes, where you are. When I launched my business, mm-hmm. I was in California. Mm-hmm. They tax you up from when I started from $800 to $11,000. Mm-hmm. You can be taxed just for being there. Mm-hmm. So it was still operating in California. I also have an operation in Texas, where in Texas there's rarely I think there's
it's
a point
income tax.
For
me,
yeah,
not for you.
If you make sales, it's 0.25. It's under 1%, mm-hmm. under 2%.
So my business is still established in Virginia. I haven't changed anything over yet. So,
here probably may be more beneficial if you have your car, with your cars, your lifestyle. Yes, if you do everything. Yes. So my whole lifestyle, is kind of more. This is the first time I'm even talking about this because no one knows I live in Texas.
Oh, I'm sorry. Okay. She's very private, by the way. Yeah. So
no one knows.
Well, they don't know where you live in Texas. We haven't talked about that. So
they don't. Yeah, we didn't mention where. But you, yeah, kind of.
Whatever. But they have to know me. So yeah. But I'll say this. We are literally. I'm here now. Supposed to be outside in 20 minutes. Literally.
Yeah, we gotta wrap. Oh my god.
Okay, so I want to say this.
All right, next.
I'm having so much fun with
you.
I am having a great time. We're gonna run this back we're gonna run this whole thing back because we got to talk about the
Hopefully you invite me back.
No, I'm definitely there.
Hopefully once you invite me back, I got a man, y'all. So my relationship combo, I'm gonna give y'all something spicy. Yeah. I'm not Kevin Gates spicy, but like I'm gonna give you
so can I say this to you? Okay, so how open are you willing to be about not your in detail sex life, but just the frequency of sex? Would you be willing to talk to me about that real quick?
I'm honest about a lot, and if I don't, say something.
So do you look at sex as a luxury? As an entrepreneur, I've had a friend who says that he thinks that sex is reserved for vacation.
Outside is lit.
And it's lit out there. He says sex is reserved for vacation and like the weekends. That like sex is not a weekday thing because you should be focused on your work. How do you feel about that?
That wouldn't be a type of dude I would ever fuck with.
Okay.
That's all.
How important is sex to you in a relationship?
Give me like a scale.
1 to 5. 5 being very important. I love you. Man.
Oh, we gotta go soon. We gotta go soon. I'm just trying to like run it up.
I love you so much. Okay. All right.
Let's do 1 to 5 of everything. Wait. Okay. Because we gotta go soon. So let's like do let's make
he doesn't make a lot of money.
This is a new franchise in your podcast.
Okay,
now,
that's
like
fair.
Okay.
He doesn't make
we'll
a lot
flesh
of
it
money.
out later.
He doesn't make a lot of money. Mm-hmm. He makes less money than you.
Okay.
He makes less than $50,000. He makes $50,000 a year.
Okay.
But he fucks you very good. Mm-hmm. On a scale from 1 to 5, where do you put him?
5 for fucking.
Okay. So sex is very important to you.
Nah, it's not. We're not together. He's just a 5 for fucking.
Oh, so you're saying that couldn't be your man.
I answered your question. She said on a scale of 1 to 5, where do I put this man?
I did.
If he fucks you and he don't have money, I said scale of 1 to 5 for fucking.
Isn't O2 the African spot?
Oh, I like Nigerian music. I'm down to hear that. That's what. Yeah, let's go. Tell her.
No, but I'm gonna say no, but Dominique has.
No, but Dominique has. That's what.
What is the music like? What is the music like?
You know, it's like exactly what you don't want to hear, what you will be hearing tonight. You were talking about twerking earlier.
I don't want to twerk to that.
You better wind your waist to Burna Boy's new album. I like it.
I like the new album, but like, girl.
You know what? I like whiskey. I fall too easy.
Oh yes.
I poured the whiskey. Yes. I poured them all wet though. But we did take shots, right?
We can do both. Okay, so let me ask one more question. Okay. I'm gonna ask one about me and then one about you. Okay, it's gonna be the same question.
Okay.
What is your favorite thing about yourself?
My favorite thing about myself is my relationship with God and how I let it infiltrate my relationship with how I interact with the world.
I love that. Because it's so real. Like, man, it's just sometimes I be getting into that bag with people sometimes, and I think they just don't understand where I'm coming from. And it's okay. Everybody's in a different path on their relationship with God. But when you talk to somebody and you can say that, like, when you feel God sometimes I'll have some things happen to me and I'll give me actual tears, or it'll bring tears in my eyes, and I'm not sad. But it's like, thank you, Lord, because this blessing, this grace, this love over my life
down earlier,
is different. And it's not even sadness. It's great. It's like thankfulness.
For the joy.
Yes. Thank you for this. Okay, so I'm going to end with this. 2 things.
No, wait, you had a question.
I know, I'm about to tell you. 2 things. You have to ask me a question.
Okay.
Just a question or 2. And then, what is your favorite thing about me? And we'll leave it at that. Okay. So start with your favorite thing about me, and then you can ask me any sort of question.
I feel like my favorite thing about
I don't take compliments. So unless you're saying something bad, I'm going to be weird. But go ahead.
My favorite thing about you is that you're a psychopath, and you know it.
I am. Yes.
Oh gosh.
I am. It's true.
Oh gosh. I feel like how like welcoming you are, and I feel like also just like how giving you are, but also I think how self-aware. So it's like so many.
Thank you.
Giving. Like it was like multiple.
Yes.
And then question I have for you is,
oh God, I'm nervous.
Where do you see yourself in like not even 5 years, 2 years, like 2024, 2022? So that's still an even year.
I've never said this ever publicly before. Oh my God, I can't believe I'm about to
We've
say
been
this.
talking a lot about it. People done found out where I live.
I know that God has blessed me with the ability to connect with people, even over like the metaverse, as you would say. And so many fans of my podcast and of just my day-to-day life are people I've never met in person before.
Hey guys.
And so, yes. And so I know that, I'm appreciative of this path that I've taken. I'm a lawyer, I'm a wedding planner, all of that. But I think that my purpose is deeper. And I think that it's going to be something that allows me to just be myself, like to wake up and not in an influencer or anything like that, but to wake up every day and to just walk in my
That's probably
purpose.
why you love being a wife, because you feel like you're most at yourself.
I'm just myself. It's just like.
So why haven't you stepped into that more? I guess I have more questions for her.
Okay, so in what way do you?
Part 2, I'm taking over and interviewing you.
Okay.
Yes, we got that's
okay.
our next.
Okay, but what do you mean? Why haven't I like?
Like I just felt something, and
Okay.
I feel like you're like being my happiest myself, and it's like
I am my happiest self being not a provider, a nurturer. Like I love taking care of people. Like
but
not like a nurse or a doctor.
Okay, but why are we not like volunteering at a nursing home here or like for kids here? Like we both like the same thing. That was also for like that's what those are like, girl. I like to like drink and toast.
Yeah,
we both the same.
But I love to like give back to people.
So,
too.
But like now that I'm thinking, like let's find
that.
other things.
And that's a networking opportunity as well. So we can all
because that can also lead to your nurturing comes to seeing happiness in people getting a union.
It really does.
You like marriage. I like being a wife.
Love marriage.
And then
yes.
That's why I understand that. But I'm also trying to get to your core because the next episode will be launching her business.
Whatever that business is.
It's giving
honestly,
life coach. It's giving.
You think so?
Learn from me. I learn from you. It's giving fix my life,
crazy.
But fix my life.
Oh my God.
Right.
That's so crazy. I never thought about that.
You know what I mean?
Like so
you get the vibe and the energy of.
Can I tell you something? This just spoke to me. This in a way that you understand though. I have always told people in my life that like ever since I've been divorced, I've had so many people come to me that are going through divorce and they've been like, how did you do it? And I'm like, what is it about me that made you think I did it? You know what I'm saying? And they're like, you just handled it with so much grace and so
they
much
see
class.
you moved here.
Right. And they're like, how did you do this? And I'm like, well, actually it was very ugly, but like,
and you
so
shared
crazy.
the ugly parts. I'm
not ashamed about it because it makes me who I am. And it shows you
no,
that,
but
like,
I mean,
you can go through
that's the grieving we talked about. Like that's a death
shit and still be in a good place, right?
Yeah.
And so it's so funny you should say that because people reach out to me, or I will be out, Dominique. I'll be getting my nails done, and my nail tech will just open up to me about her life. Like a random woman I never met. She'll be like, I'm going through this, and I'm like, what did I just came here to get my nails done. I got my AirPods and I'm
when you're a healer, you know,
and it's there's definitely something to be said there. It's that people come to me. I've had people come to me and share with me like, hey, this is going on in my marriage. I'm about to do this. What are your opinions? And I'm like, why do you trust me with this? And I've always kept it in confidence, but it's like, I feel so honored that people trust me in that way, but it also feels like wow, you really trust me in that way, you know? So
I love that, and I feel like if we have any last, we
got to wrap it up. It's been 2 hours.
What I would say is my last notes is that when you're a healer, one thing is great to attract a tribe of healers, but like when you have your day-to-day space, you got to have protectors around you because we give so much, we pour into, you know? So one thing that I'm learning, and I'm just a couple of years, we're like in the same, like,
we're about the same age. Yeah.
But like just learning with time through just getting wise is like having that balance of someone that can protect your energy because you're pouring in, you get drained. Oh, God. And then you don't have to give to you. You're like, my best friend, you met him, sir.
I loved.
Right. She is just such a giver. And I realized like it caused friction in our relationship because I'm like fighting, like, you're giving this and you should be doing this. And it's like, I'm also a giver, but I'm pouring into her because that's my network.
Right.
So it's like, you have to find the balance and boundaries of like what you can give and who you should pour into. And, that's why I say, like, you find yourself like loving marriage and loving being the wife, but that's also the idea of giving to someone, but that can get caught up into who do you give to? When do you give?
That's where that discernment that we talked about probably an hour ago comes into place. I'm gonna end on this note, and you said something to me that has stuck with me for the past few weeks, and you've said so many things that have stuck with me. Like as a friend, like you have it. I appreciate your friendship, but you sat right here on this couch and you got up and you were like, Brittany, I love the people you bring around. They're always a vibe. And because it's like, I love when I attract good people.
My birthday brunch.
Yes, it's like, I love when I attract good people, and then my people that I know are good vibe with them too.
Ty, your best friend, like, from the time that I met her, like,
it just was.
She's just like,
and that's how I felt about Ahimsa. It was just so natural and easy. And so, we sat here and I brought I had my female friends, I had my two gay friends that are guys, and I'm like, okay, how's this gonna all play out? And you were like, basically, not saying it's like, this is a vibe. Like, this is a vibe in here. And I was
but you know what I love is even I don't care about who you're sleeping with, what you're doing. I just like how you treat people and how you show up and with your energy.
And they came it's not with my business. Energy.
I didn't find out they were gay until we started talking.
Right.
That's not
right. Because I think we brought up the topic of
me and him was kicking.
Oh, that's right. Y'all were over here.
Yes, we were having a
and it wasn't like these are my gay friends.
No.
I didn't introduce them that way.
But not even you. But they didn't also be honey, I'm gay. And it wasn't like it was just a good vibe. It was good black food for the soul. You know what I'm saying?
Yes, and so that for me, I've been living.
Why would you not like that? If you can't vibrate on that, then
you don't vibrate here at all.
Right,
this is not your space.
It's not that you're a bad person. It's just not your vibe. Yeah. And I'm just not, I may not be everyone's vibe.
And I love that. I love that for us. I don't want to be everyone's vibe. Like, I want to be exclusive. I know
it's not even what I want. I know what God has planned. And the exclusivity has already been carved in me.
Yes.
But however, I'm not non-exclusive to those who don't want to vibrate high. If you want to vibrate, you're welcome. But if it's not right and vibrate high, you could be at any point of your life. A look is not there. It's like that, back to that thing. Like, what is your energy? How do you feel? How do you leave? How do you wake up? How do you guys feel when you hear this podcast? I want to know what you felt.
Yes, please let us know. And they will. They tell me when they're feeling it, and they tell me when they're not feeling it. And I will say this. I have recorded, this is episode 45. I've recorded 45 episodes, and this has been one of my favorites.
She be gassing.
I'm not gassing. And I don't say this on every episode. They know. It's not that I've slighted any other, but it's so good to sit down with somebody that knows you and that you can vibrate with on the same level. Yeah. And you can be vulnerable. I've told them things that nobody else would have got this out of me. Maybe Ivy.
Scared.
But don't be scared. This is so good, friend.
When it launches, I'm going to be like, oh.
Thank you.
I said that. Because you're not drinking them all.
That's okay. We can run it back.
Eyes is low. All right. We got to cut it off.
I love you, friend.
Thank you for having me.
Yes. All right, y'all. We will talk to y'all soon. Bye.
It's the Be Unfiltered podcast.